Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Hamster's Hobby Hang. We've had a little time off of this stream for a while. Some innovation and some cool tech upgrades happening at the production room. But I'm happy to be back. It's my favorite part of the week. So thank you for being here. We're back with the usual. We got Toby. Chris is man in the computer here, but he'll be here in a sec. Mace will be here tonight at some point.
Mace is right here.
Oh, right. Hi, Mace.
Hi, Mace.
So good to see you. You look great.
Yeah, like your new look. You keep it that way.
Exactly. And the frog is back.
Yeah, the frog's here.
When did the frog first appear on stream? It's been a while now, hasn't it? It's been like a year.
Man, I got the frog. Yeah, we had the frog pop up in, God, when was it? It was, the final stream of Wildlands.
Oh, wow.
Countdown
okay.
stream. We had it on the table there.
Wow.
How's everything looking?
Well, no, wait a minute. What is the context of the license plate save, question mark?
So this is from a game. Anybody in chat, recognize what the frog in a car is from? Any single person? Okay, this is what. Okay, I was trying to figure out like why the audio is going to weird places. Figure it out.
We got Striker, Commerce, Finley, Verdicts. How are you? Oh, Commerce says, pretty sure that's Batman Arkham Asylum. Which is a great game. But I don't remember any frogs and cars.
I know, Batman's got a lot of weird villains. But, yeah, a frog in a car has not been one of them. Let's see. Yeah, we can actually...
Wait, so you telling me that things like Killer Croc and like King Shark can exist, but a frog in a car is too out of the...
Yeah, Killer Croc but no frog? Come
I'm
on
not
now.
saying that he wouldn't belong in Batman, I'm just saying that he's not in Batman.
Oh, you called it Julio's Jungle Jam? I love that.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is
that
been
was
his
a
domain
fun
for a
joke.
while.
Yeah, the
that
reason
was-
it's
I
called
liked it.
Julio's Jungle Jam is tonight we're having. Excuse me. So before we didn't do the hang because there was some work happening in here. That work is still happening in the office, but we've been told that it's not going to be in here, so we're safe to stream. That light's a little strong. I'm going to kill that light on me. Julio is.
Make me in pitch black.
Oh, yeah.
Just my arms.
Julio is hardwiring. He's basically running like Ethernet cables through every room in the building, more or less, that we can all be hardwired in.
Which, like, thank God, right?
Yeah, it's killing us. We have a new. All the video people are in another room now.
Yep.
And our upload and download speeds over Wi-Fi, with like 3 walls between us from the router, have been awful.
Yeah.
So hardwiring in is going to be a godsend.
It's funny you say, we got the video team in another room now. When I started, like 3.5 years ago, we were in the building next door. Toby was there.
Yeah.
We just had one room, and then after a year or so, we got 2 rooms in that space.
Yeah.
Then we moved right next door where they made a new building, so we got to configure the space. And now we're in 3 rooms on this floor, and we're taking over the floor.
I love how when we moved into this side of the room, we're like, we found it here. We found an office space that like we can all be unified in.
Right. We're like, we finally have enough space.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
as soon as we have enough space, we find we don't have enough space
It was like a
anymore.
month later. Like,
Yeah.
I might need more space.
So, a lot of exciting growth.
Yeah, like we've been, and that's the thing, is the last, we haven't been like saying, okay, that's just dangerous. That's dangerous.
I didn't know that it was Velcro and that is separated, so that's
It
great.
doesn't.
Oh, God. Stuffing's just pouring out of him.
Your butt isn't Velcro?
Yeah, that's the thing, like, it's been kind of quiet from like an announcement standpoint for us, but which is funny because this is also like some of the busiest we've ever been, I think.
Right.
But a lot of this because a bunch of it is just behind the scenes,
Right.
setting up a bunch of stuff. Like the backdrop now, that thing is new because we've got this whole backdrop system.
I didn't notice this. I hadn't seen this one before. That looks cool.
We've just put this up yesterday.
Wow.
And we ordered a bunch of... We're using a backdrop system that is meant for 3-meter long, like light photo backdrops,
Sure.
like canvas backdrops.
Yeah, yeah.
And instead we've made it 5 meters, and it's holding like a heavier fabric.
Yeah. It's like not fabric. It's like
I can see it
vinyl.
buckling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's bowing a bit in the middle, so we're working on a way to support that so it doesn't bow.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that happens when we're not in Kickstarter. We're doing little tiny upgrades.
Vaguely remember it, but not sure the game. I think the frog's a minigame. No. Okay, so the frog is from Mother 3.
Huh.
The way that you save in Mother 3 is by talking to frogs.
What?
And one of the frogs is just this frog that's just driving in circles in a town a bit of the way through the game.
Okay.
And so that's this frog.
I mean this affectionately. That sounds like a very Chris game.
Thank you. I made it myself.
Yeah, there you go.
No, Mother 3 is a fantastic game.
Okay.
It's wild that they haven't localized it. Hardwired is fantastic, but that'll take a lot of work. Yeah, no, Hardwired is the big thing is that we've got we have a server here where we put all the files.
Which was an upgrade that happened like how many years ago? That was the big upgrade, and now we're upgrading again.
The issue was we weren't able to really make full use of that server.
Sure, right.
By hardwiring in, the goal is that all of us on the video team will now be able to access the server and just work off of the server instantly.
That's awesome.
And we can be editing off of the same project files and everything. Instead of putting stuff on drives and passing it around.
Yeah, that's the upgrade from Dropbox.
Yeah.
You know, we actually have a server.
Yeah, it's getting rid of all the transfer time of passing stuff around. And so once we got that going, it's gonna be great because then we can have all 3 of us editing. Oh.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
I dropped my katana.
I see you have another deer over there. How many elk or deer miniatures do you have now?
So I have the metal version of this.
Oh, okay.
But apparently, they've done a bones version of it.
Huh.
That was in the fan favorites pack. So I suddenly wound up with. This is the same sculpt as the elk that I painted back in 2019.
Yep. Was
Except
it that
it's-
long ago? God.
It was that long
If
ago.
you'd asked me when I came to your house to do the miniature painting stream for your channel, I would have said it was within a year.
Hey, Rabbit, you sure won't fall anytime soon? Yeah, we're pretty sure that the backdrop's not going to fall, but we'd like to support it so it doesn't wrinkle is the main thing.
Sure.
We wanted to actually, you can see some wrinkles in it, which isn't a big, we're perfectionists.
Yeah, you're right. Hi, Rabbit.
Hey, Rabbit, how you doing? Yeah, so I painted that back in 2019, and he's been my steed. Is this. I'm a paladin, cast fine steed, and I chose an elk.
Yes.
But we're making it a thing where it's not. I don't like the summoning spells when it's a one target thing.
Sure.
And it's just, especially considering that you get a telepathic connection with this animal.
Sure.
So it's so I can talk to this thing. It should actually have personality. It should matter to me.
Yeah.
So he's been every time I summon him, it's the same celestial.
Okay.
Every time he takes his form, and I just got to the point where I have find greater steed.
Okay.
And so it's oh, you can get a flying mount now. It's but I still want it to be the same dude.
Right.
And I still like the elk as the thing. So I'm so can we use Pegasus stats or whatever?
Pegasus elk, yeah. That'd be
But
sick.
it's just the elk. So I'm thinking, I paint this one up and then I kit bash some wings onto it.
Yes, I love
And
that.
so then it can be here's the regular elk and then here's the greater steed.
I
elk.
love Pegasus elk.
And and they're both Private Flanagan.
That's badass.
Yeah. I've managed to run out of tea. That's just not possible. 2022 is 4 months away.
Don't even
Why
say
do you
that.
have to say
Don't even
things
say
like that?
It's 2021. We skipped a year.
If you had an oscillating fan on the backdrop, made it look like Nate actually said that it'd be fun to just have it constantly waving.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Flying elk mount. My paladin also has an elk asking for advice a lot. Yeah, that's the thing. My paladin, this like Private Flanagan, because Tyler gave it like a Sean Connery voice when I summoned it for the first time. And so I looked up Sean Connery on IMDb and just scrolled through the list of his characters to see which one had the most fun name. And so we chose Private Flanagan.
There you go. What era of Sean Connery was that? Like, what year approximately was that?
Honestly, couldn't tell you.
Sure.
Haven't seen the movie.
Yep.
What movie was it though?
I don't even remember the movie.
Yeah.
I just saw Private Flanagan and I'm like, that's a funny name for an elk.
That's a name for an elk.
That's a very funny name for an elk.
You should do your elk justice and watch the movie.
I probably will at some
For
point.
Flanagan.
For Flanagan, yeah. But yeah, like that's so much more fun to me. That's why like the like dragon like kin ranger thing that they have in that subclass that they have in Unearthed Arcana right now.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't really work for me.
Sure.
I love the idea of there being a ranger that is like bonded with dragon, but like the way that it's written, it's like, oh, you know, every day you get to choose like what kind of dragon it is and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, so it's not actually like a dragon that you're like actually connected to. It's just like a tool.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, I don't know, it's more fun for me to be like, no, this is like your partner basically.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
that.
It's way more fun to me.
That's more interesting and more like, yeah, you build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
This summer, with our mutual friend Kelsey, we finally finished up like a 2-year-long campaign, and we just started a new one. So I'm excited to kind of find. We're doing this thing where like we're playing kind of the intro, and we're gonna discover our class. So no one has a class yet. That's gonna happen from like narrative elements. Yeah.
I'm Oath of Ancients. And he's been like, so one thing my character's been doing is he's been engraving his shield with symbols to like represent the people that inspire him. And so the first thing was he got like just some antlers like along it's a kite shield.
Yeah.
And so like there's antlers like coming up along the bottom corners, like kind of
on the kite, like
up on the kite, kind of like encircling the like the symbol of his god in the center.
Oh, that's badass.
And then it added
that's
like
really cool.
it added hammers for Miles's character.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love the idea of antlers going up the side of a shield.
And we're homebrewing that like every time an event happens where it like solidifies like how that person like inspires him, and we like put it on the shield. It comes with another channel divinity option.
Oh, nice.
And so for the elk antlers, when I put Flanagan on the shield, which is the first one, you change my channel divinity into creating a not a life force shield. What's anti-life, like an anti-life shield, so like people can't pass through it.
Sure.
That goes up 5 feet in either direction, so I can basically be like a 15-foot wall.
Oh, nice. Nice.
For a minute.
Nice.
And allies can like hide behind it for half cover.
Sure.
And stuff like that. So like for ranged like fights, because I have like no ranged options. So basically what it is like, okay, I'm just gonna activate this and like hunker down, and like all like our ranged people can just be like firing from behind me and stuff like that.
Yeah. I love hearing about channel divinity because my last character, well, it's a long story. My last character actually had 3 different classes inspired by the narrative, but it ended up being a cleric, so I channeled divinity, and my god gave me this mace that whenever I healed a certain amount or a certain number of targets, I'd be under the effects of Sanctuary. So I was basically immune to damage as long as I didn't do something that caused damage. So I kind of had like a like infinite bubble as long as like my god was looking down upon me.
Huh.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So it was interesting because like I had all these like cool spells, but it's like damage spells like fire and stuff. But I would have to choose like when to be on the defensive and just be like the infinite tank.
I named my elk Courage so that when I hit level 10, I could say that I had an aura which reminded me of... Oh, that's awesome. An aura that reminded me of us. Yeah, because Aura of Courage is the anti-fear aura, right?
Oh, that's cool. Wilderness Encounter, I like that name.
You know what's really funny? They were just talking about how they wish they found us sooner because they found Dwarven Forge like 2 months after Wildlands ended.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, your name is like...
Yeah,
like,
it's perfect.
Yeah, your name is like perfect for Wildlands.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Getting big storms here. Where's that?
I mean,
It was raining last night pretty hard. Yeah.
We've been getting a lot of.
Really?
We've been getting like a lot of thunderstorms.
I didn't even know until I left my house at the night to like go get something, and I was like, "What the heck? It's been pouring rain."
Yeah, it like all happened during on the anvil. Like when I was like going home, like I was
about that time.
Like, yeah, it was definitely like post like thunderstorm, and I was like, I hope it doesn't start. It was like sprinkling still.
Yeah.
I walked back home last night, and then right before I went home, I stopped by like a Rite Aid, and then when I went out, the ground was wet, and I was like, but it wasn't raining.
Yeah.
It's like,
no, that's what happened to me. Is
there for like 2 minutes.
Right. My bodega now is like literally right next door. Like you walk on my door and it's right there. And it was like kind of raining when I went in, and 2 minutes later I came back out. It was pouring. Yeah.
Oh, what are we working on, by the way?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Excuse me, Frog. So I
Am I
have
supposed to do something here?
one of my random Kickstarter miniatures. It's a cool. I kind of like the pose. I especially like the robes.
What Kickstarter is that from? That's a cool base.
The base I did. It's just like cork on a random base that I have. And my basement. First of all, I have a basement in my apartment, which is awesome because that's where I have my hobby station. And it's not finished, so I found a corner where there's like random crumbling like drywall and stuff. So that's the sand on this base.
Nice. You just go and shave some off every time you want to.
Yeah. But let's see. I think it's called like, what was the Kickstarter? Do you know how it goes, right? It's like you back a Kickstarter, like 1 or 2 years passes, you're like, oh right, I got this package. What is
You just
that?
back the Kickstarters, and then you forget about it until they show up.
Yeah. So it's some, I forget, but. I really like the pose of it, and I have brand new paints that just came in the mail yesterday. They're from AK Interactive. They're
Wait, I think I have some of theirs.
Yeah, I think you got them in that.
I got some of theirs.
Box.
I got some of theirs from Asset Drop. Yeah.
Yep. And so these are their 3rd generation acrylics. I got the intense colors, so they have like a lot of military colors. But these are kind of their really bright looking colors.
I'm gonna stop with the camera a bit.
I've seen Spanish painters use them a lot, like particularly Sergio Calvo painted the box art for these. And one of my favorite Twitch painters is Miniatures Den, and he was recommending them as well. So I wanted to try them out, so I just got 1 pack of their basic colors. There's like a really, obviously intense, sort of like their primary red, green, yellow, blue, like all that. So I just got this for a sampling, and I literally brought them in the box, and I haven't even opened them yet. So I'm excited to see how they work.
Question: is Intense their brand name?
No, the AK Interactive is a brand name, but they kind of for a long time they've been like a company for like military modeling. So there's really muted colors. They do a lot of great like weathering washes.
A lot of like drab and all.
Yeah, drab, and they do like rust effects, like enamels and stuff like that I also have that work really well. So when you're building like a tank model or a plane model or something, but these are kind of when they realize like, hey, fantasy sci-fi modelers also use these. They came out with the intense colors. So
yeah, I was wondering because you said intense and then you were talking about military colors. Like,
yeah.
I don't particularly.
Oh, here, yeah. In fact, here, let's see. Yeah, these are all the colors they have. It's just like they're kind of their most vibrant versions of the main colors. So I just figured, because normally I would be like, hey, I have an inkling of an interest of a paint set. I need to buy the whole set, right? I'm just thinking kind of like hobby gearhead that way. So I was like, let me just get a sample and see. And I've sort of been in a painting realm where I'm like, I want to get those intense colors. Like I don't know, the way I've been painting with washes and stuff like that, it's really easy to drab it down. So I kind of want, it aligned with my desire for, intense colors. So it seemed appropriate.
Nice.
Now paint a tank with purple and orange.
Yeah, we'll paint the rainbow tank here with this set.
Ooh, yeah. Paint the frog.
The frog, yeah.
They sell AK near me, but after I shown the whole thing they did with gas chambers and mass grays, I figured I'd look for paint elsewhere.
What the heck does that mean?
Wait, were they? That was the company that did that. Was that a Kickstarter?
Oh, you know what? They did come out with that kit that was like really in poor taste.
That was a paint company that did that? I remember that story. That was them.
Now that you mention it, that was that company, yeah.
Oh.
They set out some like historical set that had to do with the Holocaust, and it was like not good.
Yeah, and like the messaging was like, make your own cool make your own cool mass grave situations.
It wasn't like, hey, in remembrance or anything that was anywhere near tasteful. It was like, this happened and paint it.
Yeah, it had the tone of like a Crossfire commercial, but like for like a massive tragedy.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
How did they apologize about that?
I don't remember.
I didn't know that was them.
I
Oh,
didn't
that's,
either. I forgot about that when I bought this.
I didn't think it would be a paint company. I didn't realize that they.
Well, they're one of those companies that they start making modeling hobby stuff, and then they venture into their own realm of paints or whatever.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna have to keep note of that because. Wow. How do you tastefully do it, or do you just not do it?
Yeah, I mean, that kit in particular, I think you just don't do it.
I think
How did that leave the boardroom?
I don't know. Look, I'm not an expert on any of this, but I think you at least don't use messaging that sounds like here's a cool new toy. You know?
Right.
Here's the thing, shitty products like that will always exist.
Right.
Just don't advertise with it.
It was just I think I'm not gonna get into I don't know if there's a good way to do it, but I think it's pretty clear that just the tone they took was not. It wasn't even trying to kind of be respectful about it.
Well, thankfully the logo will no longer appear on the stream, so.
Yeah, let's Huh. I need to look into how they responded to that because I have no idea how they responded.
Yeah, it depends on that really, but
it's one of those things where it's it seems like one of those things that you shouldn't have to be told not to do.
Well, right. It seems like
know.
common sense, right?
Yeah. That's unfortunate. Let's see.
oh, random question, Chris.
What's up?
When are you going to paint Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong's hat and tie?
Oh, that's right. We have Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong's hat and tie done now. Well, his head, his hair. Do you have him here?
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
I'll add that to the list of things I'm doing. I'm doing a bunch of stuff that'll probably be painted really fast today. I'm doing a bunch of Reaper Bones stuff. I'm doing sculpts where I'm these are cool sculpts that I think we'll actually use soon, and also they don't require a ton of painting steps. So for example, what I'm currently doing is Twig Blights. I really like these sculpts, and our party is split right now, but one of our groups is in the Feywild. And so I'm these will probably be useful.
I thought that's the cardinal rule of D&D is don't split the party.
It wasn't on purpose. It was not by any means intentional.
Sure.
But we I mean, I'm not in that part. I kind of wish I was in that part, honestly. The Feywild is much more preferable to what Ray and I are doing right now.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, just in a chances of dying way, I guess. Not really in a. We're having a lot of fun, but there's a lot of existential threats around every corner in the thing that we're doing currently.
Sure.
And what they're doing right now is dangerous as well, for sure. But I think it's less of a Lovecraftian horror thing.
Oh no.
Which reminds me, I probably should get some mind flayers. I don't think. Wait, were there any mind flayers in the Bones 5 stuff? I don't remember seeing any, but it also would have been a very easy thing for me to miss because there was a ton of stuff in those boxes.
Diddy and Donkey
Picked up P3 paints at the beginning of lockdown. What's P3? Have you tried that?
Privateer Press. I haven't owned them, but it's actually funny you say that because one of that Twitch streamer I mentioned, Manager's Den, compared these to P3, so maybe that's a good alternative to this brand.
Yeah. Interesting. We had somebody, one of my friends actually, not somebody from the Dwarven Forge Discord. is wanting to start getting into painting, and he was asking me what paints to start with, and I'm like, I'm far from an expert. However, I find that Reaper stuff is pretty easy to start with.
Oh yeah, well that's why I recommended it to you guys.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't recommend corny paints?
Picorni's great for terrain. I would not ask somebody who is just getting into mini painting to use high flow acrylics.
Honestly, I had a mini on my desk that was Nate's that, out of curiosity and just because it's what I had on my desk, I painted all with Picorni, and they were very, very good for glazing, but those first initial opaque base coats, when you just like want to slap on an opaque layer, they didn't do great, but they did do well in glazing.
I only painted minis with corny, I think, because
Yeah,
you're here.
that's what we have around. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. Like the end result was fine, but it took a lot.
It took a lot of layers. Like that's the thing. It's like they're not bad, but there's like paints that do better for those first opaque layers. Yeah.
There's a difference in painting minis and painting terrain.
Right.
And so there are products that are just better fit for either job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I really like the metallics for P3. So much good coverage. Let's see. Metallic pink.
I haven't used their metallics. Well, I actually haven't used any of their paints, but I'm always on the search for good metallics.
I have like this. I'm always going back and forth on whether or not I want to learn how to do non-metallic metal.
Well, I was impressed that you were trying it because you got that one box, and I was like, dang, like even I am still like learning non-metallic, and like it's kind of intimidating.
I think it's by far the hardest thing I've tried to do.
Yeah.
And I did not do well. Like it was.
What would a non-metallic metal be? Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's basically just like painting a metal effect on your miniature without using metallic paint. So you're like painting all the reflections and shadows to simulate metal.
Wow.
It's rough.
And honestly, that's like basically what miniature painting is simulating light, and you're just trying to do it in a different situation, like a different material. But, you know, to make it look right takes a lot of practice.
That kind of sounds like trying to paint a realism painting.
Yeah, it basically is like you're trying to make, and it does kind of come down to when do you lean into what would be real, and how do you lean into rule of cool, at least in like, you know, fantasy miniatures. But
imagine if people were like, the Renaissance era or stuff like that, people painting paintings,
right,
and then whenever they wanted to paint something that was metal, they just used like metallic paint.
Well, right, and in fact that is kind of where non-metallic metal found its way into miniature painting, is people looking at traditional painters. They didn't have metallic pigments, so how do they do it? Like basically, the interesting thing about miniature painting is like, in traditional painting, one of the steps you have to do is like create the forms. Like you have to illustrate the forms, and then with your tones, you simulate the light on the forms. So we already have the forms in 3D. So you're just placing the light. We don't have to draw the forms because they're already sculpted. And we're just placing the light as if it's 2D, but we already have the forms.
So kind of like when you did that the guy with the torch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just picked, like you would in a painting, I just picked the lights coming from here, from this torch. How would all the forms react to the light in that situation?
I want to try that at some point.
Yeah.
Every time I see a mini where somebody has like done a thing where it's like, oh, they got a spell effect and it's casting light on their face or their chest, like that stuff's always fascinating to me.
Like if you take a look at some of the most like impactful, interesting miniatures, and maybe some of your favorites, a lot of it I think has to do with the simulation of light, and it's usually a cool effect like that. That's just like using light in an interesting way. And that's basically what makes miniature painting interesting, is how we make it something so small how we make the shapes and forms and the light read like on something small. Like that's kind of the novelty of it.
Kudos for trying. I don't know, man. I don't think you saw how badly it came out. I did not show anybody. That was rough.
Yeah, I've only have one miniature that was kind of recent that was like mostly metal that I tried it. Normally it's just been like one weapon here, one weapon there, or something like that. Cause it's hard, man. Like it's hard.
It's definitely the thing that like. I think it's the hardest thing I've tried, and it was very much a thing where it's just like I can't do this. Like I gotta.
It's very painterly. It's like very. It's almost like scientific. Like you have to. It's an illusion, is what it is. It's an illusion.
Kind of reminds me of how, I guess this is completely different, but like when something's like metallic or chrome in a game, in a video game, like the tech, sometimes what they do is like, well, if they can't have the model like actually reflecting the outside, like they put the texture, like a metallic reflection texture on that, and then put the metallic on it.
Yeah,
so it seems like that's a halfway point between the two things.
Right.
Simulate the reflection, and then have the computer just be able to like figure out where the light and all that stuff is. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Is OSL the lighting thing?
Yeah, that's called object source lighting. So that torch is a perfect example where there's an object that is the clear origin of the light. Or sometimes it's even off the model. Like I've seen it where there's someone looking over and they make it so it like looks like they're looking in a cauldron, like a glowing cauldron or something. And so it's not on the model, but there's like an underlighting of the green or whatever. So OSL is object source lighting.
Interesting. I saw somebody throwing that term around, and I was like, I'm guessing the L means light, so probably the...
No, L means loser.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm also trying to figure out one sore loser.
Hey, me.
Yeah.
Is that just in the headphones? I actually appreciate it being kind of hear the soundtrack.
It's not on the headphones. It's playing out of one of the monitors.
Oh, okay, nice.
And
I like that we can hear.
I'm hoping that the audience is able to hear the music too.
Yeah.
Doing the normal thing where...
That is the intention. Let's see. Is it the gorilla I linked you? I think it is. And so I painted up Donkey and Diddy, and then Toby went in and with green stuff added Donkey Kong's his actual like authentic hair and tie and Diddy's hat. So now that they've got those, I gotta paint those. Yeah, the tie, Toby. Yeah, no, it looks authentically very good. I'm excited for us to finally be able to do that that Donkey Kong build.
I want to make that.
It's one of the dumbest ideas we've ever had, and I'm very excited about it.
I forgot what exactly the idea was. It was so long ago, but I know we were talking about the build.
I think we were just talking about making like a treehouse build with the Wildlands prototypes and stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was a specific.
Oh, I remember that.
We can grab a bunch of banana runts. Grab a bunch of banana runts and put it in the. Yeah.
Banana runts?
Yeah. You know runts?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they make
like
you can buy packs that are just the banana runts.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta do that.
That or we just buy regular runts and then sort through and pick out all the bananas and only the bananas. But yeah.
Well, that idea sucks because
Wait,
no one likes
runts. I haven't thought about runts in ages.
For like the last year and a half, Toby and I have just been trying to think of every video game build we could do. When we get all the Wildlands stuff in, I want to take the escarpments and print out like the backdrop and do like a Breath of the Wild, like that opening shot.
Nice.
Build where he runs out to the tip of the plateau.
Yeah.
I just want to build that with all the escarpments. Hello?
Hello?
You stealing our ladder?
Maybe.
We need that for the stream.
You need help
You
with
need that to get high.
You can't take the ladder. We're painting the ladder.
Yeah.
No, well, it's a pretty color
It's
now.
wet right now.
We can't have the ladder be green. Also, thank you, Julio.
I was so worried about interrupting.
No,
Dude,
no.
dude,
This is the most casual stream
yeah,
of,
dude,
of the week.
Yeah, don't worry about interrupting at all.
Alright.
Dude, they're just gonna appreciate the fact. Hey, once he's done with this, we might have less like stream dropouts. So that's exciting. Oh, you're taking all the ladders. Let's go.
Multiple.
Oh, really? You were gonna paint both of them, or?
Yeah.
We're gonna do some OSL on the ladders.
Yes.
Is the other light the light source?
On source.
Yeah,
on
other
source
ladder
ladders.
for light
Yeah, the L is for ladders.
You can use the.
One step ladder.
Yeah, there you go.
Good evening. Hello.
Hi there.
Do you need help writing the DF Dwarven Forge song to the tune of DK64? It's like, no, man, we've been doing that in the office for like years. If I'm being real, the amount of times that we
That's true.
paint the ladder green so you can have Nate floating on the stream with the ladder's already green. Oh, we should do that.
Will we ever use a green screen for that?
The rest of the fruits. Oh, that makes sense. We can use the rest of the fruits from the runts to do a Pac-Man build.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's what he's saying.
There you go.
Or, yeah, you can also redo the Animal Crossing build with that.
We already did we did an Animal Crossing build when New Horizons came out.
Yeah, that was like right before we like walked away.
It was in, I think, the last Dwarven Quarterly, which was like the beginning of 2020.
Wait, did we not have Dwarven Quarterly since?
I don't think we've done a Dwarven Quarterly.
Yeah, we have not done a quarterly, that's for sure.
Well, so here's the thing. The reason a Dwarven Quarterly was happening was that was like a compromise Jay was willing to make. He was afraid of us sending out emails to people and like annoying them too much.
Yeah,
so he
yeah.
was like, okay, the quarterly. We'll only do it like 4 times a year.
Right.
But now we brought Andrew on, and one of the things we're saying is like, no, we should be emailing regularly and making sure everybody knows when something cool happens.
Right.
And he was worried that if we sent an email more than once a month, people would get mad and not want to associate with us anymore. And I'm like, do you know how many Domino's emails I get, like, daily?
Yeah.
Like,
The worst email I got for one of those chain things, not even chain thing, I had to go to the doctor and I had to get like a lab test for something. And then, that was like maybe 2 or 3 months ago. I just got an email saying, top lab test for men. And it's like, what, you want me to just go into one of those labs and just like, I guess I'll get this test for no reason? That's kind of like, it feels worse than when drugs advertise on TV.
oh. Yeah, it's
But
I don't know. Yeah, it's a very funny thing. So we've been part of like our marketing and like us trying to be a company that exists outside of Kickstarters was to just start regularly emailing people and like letting people know when a build of the month was happening.
Sure.
Because that's the thing. Like you got to realize like we used to just not tell people that a build of the month was happening. And then we started like actually advertising whenever it came out. We, you know, in the weekly email, we'd be like, "Hey."
well, back then also it wasn't a bundle.
I think we started selling them before we started doing frequent emails.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like this thing of like,
before that. Yeah, makes sense.
and you know, and now Jay's like, "Huh, we're selling a lot more stuff in the store now." It's like, yeah, we're giving people chances to spend their money. Yeah, more hidden gems, please. Yeah, the hidden gems has been that's been a really fun thing to work on. That's been mostly Andrew, and then like me and Nate, and I guess mostly me and Nate have been like ideas of like, you know what, this is a really cool piece that we should put in there, and then Eric's been making sure that we got stuff in stock. You like the emails because they have good content. Thank you. Is it really your ladder or is it just your step ladder?
It is always like Nate proofing the email, so you get it like right from him. A magic
Half
master.
step ladder
Yeah.
once removed.
Man. Ugh. Yeah, I've got a step ladder, but I just really want a ladder of my own, you know? So I just want to feel like it's my ladder.
Hoser says, although the emails with tracking numbers are the best.
Yeah.
There you go. Post order. On the way.
The nice thing about the twig blights is like I really don't need to be too precious with them. Like they're wood. They're just animated wood.
There you go.
So all 3 of them, that's basically done. I just need to do the base now.
What is he like a zombie tree?
Twig blights. Yeah, they're kind of They're kind of like plant zombies, kind of. Yeah, it's basically
Like the game?
yes.
Plant zombies.
I think you missed a word in there somewhere.
Uh,
I'm not sure, but I think you might have.
nah.
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 No.
Just like my favorite type of dragon, dungeon dragon.
Dungeon.
Yo, is that a dungeon dragon?
It's like there's a green dragon, there's a red dragon, there's a dungeon dragon.
We were drafting that D&D Magic set the other night, and Ray was like, I pulled a full art green dragon. I was like, that's the nemesis of Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's full art green dragon.
When can we expect to see a Dwarven Forge line of paints? We have them. We have Picorni paints. They're sold on our web store. They're more for terrain than minis. We were just talking earlier. We don't recommend them for painting minis just because they're high flow acrylics. They're meant for covering like a lot of ground, so it's hard to like do the smaller details on a mini with them because they run a bit. But they're very good for actually covering your terrain.
Yeah, like they're more similar to like actual like art store acrylics. So they're even though they are high flow and thin, they are heavier almost like than your miniature acrylics.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, like they're pretty similar to the golden stuff. No connection.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Yeah, so we do highly recommend Picorni paints, but they're for terrain more than minis. Because, I mean, that's what we sell. Like, I think even with a lot of the minis that we make, generally speaking, we tend to use other paints for them, right? Or
I
do we
mean,
still use Picorni?
they would do well on the material. You could use them, but
That is also true. It's
Even
because,
so, yeah.
like, they work better on Dwarvenite than on...
right.
Like, because they're made specifically to go on the stuff that we make.
Right.
So they're better for terrain, they're better for Dwarvenite. Using them on plastic or resin is kind of rough.
Yeah, like I said, I did use them to good effect for glazing, but they're not like your catch-all for plastic and resin miniatures. Like, they're really good for certain effects. Definitely worth experimenting with if you have some for your terrain.
Yeah, I have used them to paint one mini just because I didn't have any of my paints in the office at the time,
Yeah,
and I had to speed paint a mini.
sure.
So like it's definitely doable.
Oh yeah,
I just like there are paints that are specifically meant like Reaper makes paint for miniatures
Oh, yeah.
because they make miniatures,
right.
and so like it works best with their materials, and
Right.
it's good stuff. Like most of the minis that I get are Reaper minis, and I use their paints for pretty much any minis, honestly.
The bone stuff is also a PVC, right?
Was that?
The bone stuff is also a PVC blend, right?
I
Yeah,
believe so.
I think so, but it's a different blend for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does
it's
it
it's
work
it's, it's
better?
not Dwarvenite, but it is
Yeah. But does it work? Does their stuff work on bones?
I haven't tried it, honestly. Because the mini that I painted with Picorni was a Nulzer's mini. So I don't know. It was definitely a different material than bones.
The Landar, they're really big bottles. They're like art store bottles. Like, what is this? This is 2 fluid ounces, and it's bigger than this bottle. It's like
It's like
3
twice.
times.
It's like twice.
Yeah.
Are they?
They're like 6 fluid. They're like at
They're
least
6 ounce?
ounces, yeah.
There are people here who have a lot of them. Oh, they're 4 ounce.
And the high flow.
They're 4 ounce.
4 ounces.
Yeah.
Okay, so bigger than, like, this is a standard hobby bottle. This is a larger bottle. They're bigger than both of these. And the high flow should go through an airbrush pretty well. I mean, I am just in the habit of like putting a little thinner in anything I put through the airbrush, but they're very, very fluid, like more fluid than average. So definitely useful in an airbrush.
I need to get the airbrush set up in the new apartment.
Yeah. Yeah, I just used mine today. I just kind of primed it in Zenithal a bit.
I do hate that the terrain that I have is the worst terrain for airbrushing.
Which sets are that? What's
Hellscape.
That? Oh yeah.
You can't
yeah.
airbrush Hellscape.
No, it's all
Yep.
about like yeah.
Yeah, like it's unfortunate. Any of our other terrain, I could airbrush the base coat, but
Yeah.
specifically Hellscape you can.
Yeah, no, that's
You
tough.
can if you don't want to use a light panel.
I guess you could like mask the lava or something and paint it black, but I don't know.
Thin it and ramp up the air pressure, and anything will go through an airbrush.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Can I put the Doritos for an airbrush?
Doritos.
If you thin it and
Yeah.
turn
Yeah.
up the pressure enough, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I gotta airbrush my Doritos, or no, all the way around.
That's oh my god, that should be a TikTok series we do. Is just like painting minis with weird things. Like we'll make a TikTok of just grinding Doritos down into a paste, and like and you paint your mini with like Doritos.
Can I do that? I volunteer.
I did see a video of someone finger painting a miniature. That was pretty interesting.
I still want to do that one where we set it up on the roof and you just paintball the miniature. Like take out your paintball gun and blast it.
Yeah. Be a lot of yellow.
Oh, are all your paintballs yellow?
Well, the local field, and you have to use their field paint. Their field is yellow, so that's most of what I have.
You don't have a school bus?
School bus yellow? I should. We should make Picorni paintballs.
Yeah, good plan.
Let's pitch that to Jay. Yeah.
Stefan would actually go for it if we asked him.
Well, actually, no. We do base gray.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and you just like flash it at it.
Where's Rabbit? He's the other. Yeah, Rabbit. He even said it right on cue. He said, "I get Picorni paintballs."
Oh man, it's just ridiculous. How hard is it to make paintballs?
I mean, it's just like a fill and a gelatin outer shell.
I don't play paintball. Never did.
I secretly like want to get a Dwarven Forge like paintball trip happening because there's places in the city where you can
Okay,
rent
well,
stuff.
we can't take any of the, you realize that we can't take any of the sculptors paintballing, right?
Why?
If they get like just like pelted on like the funny bone on their sculpting arm and they just can't sculpt for a week, like
Well, I guess I'm just gonna quit sculpting.
yeah, like it's
I got a paintball.
like we can't take our sculptors to an activity that might like injure them.
I suppose.
Got plans to do a painting video using paintballs?
Yes.
Nice. But we wanted to try it and see what happened. Take everyone laser tagging instead. Man, laser tag's just a lot of fun.
that.
We already did that. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't know if you were here full time yet, or if you.
I
I don't
wasn't.
think.
No.
I don't think you were had even worked on
That was like-
Hellscape yet.
3 years ago.
Yeah, that was a while.
Oh yeah,
ago.
that was before Hellscape.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was Eli. It was you.
The entire time I've actually like been like the entire time that I've actually been like like an irremovable part of the team has been during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I like haven't been able to do a lot, which is unfortunate. Like I've actually never met Michelle.
Well, no.
I've actually never met Michelle or Chuck. I think I've been in the same room as Eli twice.
Wait, Eli's real?
Well, no, Eli is a fairy.
Yeah,
Like
there you go.
Eli is a fey creature.
Honestly, I have met him, and I believe that.
yeah.
I'll be convinced if you tell him he's an elf. bro.
He's the fairy king. Oh, yeah, he'd probably say he's an elf actually. More
He's
than
completely an elf.
Yeah.
Like,
he's just something. I just know he's something fey for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Base coat of the faces is done. Just get that stuff in there. I'm glad I've gotten to the point where I'm not as precious about things where I'm just like, this just needs to be a generic enemy we can throw on the table.
That is the trick of like kind of assigning your paint job to, its use.
Yeah.
It reminds me when you first started.
Oh yeah, I was
No, man, Hamster.
oh hamster?
When you first started, you thought every piece was like.
I thought the
going to
pieces, I thought the
customer.
prototypes that we painted in the studio were going to the customers.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
And so they were like, hey, look, your paint jobs are great, but like we kind of got to bump up the efficiency, the speed. And I was like, but you don't understand. I want it to be good for the people. And then finally, they had me. There was one piece that like didn't fit in an insert exactly. So Nate said, hey, throw these on the belt sander. I was like, are people gonna be mad? One side is shaved off. And then I learned.
When did you actually learn?
It's too long. I should have just asked questions.
Hi, No Mana from France. How are you doing?
No mana.
No Mana. I think it says No Mana HD. I can't quite read everything perfectly clearly from here. Maybe I should pop the chat out and make it bigger or something.
Yeah, I can't see it.
You had Mace DM a game for you? Oh, we're at a convention?
Oh, nice. Remember that.
I reckon Nino would be a beast with a paintball marker. Nino would destroy everybody, I think. Posted a few minis in the Discord who had... Nice! Yeah, there's a lot of people posting paint jobs in there. It's a lot of fun. I had my character get some empty paintball shells and fill them with... Wait. Oh, I got a knock over. Alright. Fill them with DM50? So open the pores and make anything skin permeable and either LSD or home... Is this... Oh, Shadowrun. Got it. So I was like, is this in D&D? At Gen Con. Also met Michelle, Eli, and Chuck. You know the team better than I do. It's not true. I've got to know pretty much everybody here very well. I miss the
also
t-shirt
because
in the
of
office.
those.
Yeah, makes sense.
Also because of all the meetings, like
Oh,
before,
yeah.
like
We talk and we hear everybody, yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to him a lot. I've never
Years
actually
ago.
physically been in the same place as Michelle and...
yeah, 3 years ago, it was so rare to like even hear about them. Like,
Oh, yeah.
now and then, like,
The remote sculptors are just like myth and legend.
yeah.
So that's like a new thing.
Well, probably over the past like year or two, but when we first started, or when I first started, Toby had been there even longer. You just kind of hear about him in passing all the time.
I guess us going remote meant that,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like they're...
But even before that, we were doing those meetings that they tuned in on, right?
Yeah.
I don't even remember anymore. What is?
What year is it?
Alright, since Mace isn't here, I gotta be the one to go pee. I'll be right
You
back.
didn't say that. You just need to save the time.
Mark it, 6:52.
Mark it! He's really taking one for the team
652?
here. The team being Mace.
6:52 is now a new holiday.
There you
Right now,
A
that's
holiday? It's a hall of time. It's a hall of time, if anything. Let's see. Stuff in there. Yeah. She's shredding on that synth. Let's go. Almost got the base coat done on this. Donkey Kong!
It was something like 2 songs ago.
Yeah, but this is like a super identifiable Donkey Kong song.
It was like the main theme too.
No, we don't meet any of the team. What are the odds of you, once the world opens back up, Finley, what are the odds of you coming over to a US convention? Or would it be a thing where we'd have to go to Europe for that to...
I want to go to Europe.
I'd want to go to Europe too. I'm just not sure. Well, here's the thing. We know that we want to try and break into the European market more. There's a couple conventions. There's a particularly wargaming conventions. Most of the big ones are in Europe. So, like, if we want to really push wargaming, we're gonna have to go to Europe at some point.
But we need better European shipping.
We need better European shipping, yes. But it's that weird catch-22 where to justify getting better European shipping, we need more European customers. Man, running a business is hard. I'm not even the one doing it. But yeah, just like looking at all the considerations, all this stuff. We want to be able to supply Europe better so badly, but like, it's hard. All the costs associated with like setting up like a warehouse there and stuff. I don't know. I don't understand all of it, but
Yeah, of course. But
it's tough. Better European shipping, please. I wish we could just do it. You guys might appreciate this. I'm a freelance sculptor myself. Someone on Fiverr tried to get me to sign a do not compete contract on a freelance sculpt commission, saying that like you wouldn't be able to sculpt for anybody else after you did this sculpt.
For at least a while, or is it?
You can't make a freelancer do it. Why? What? So they pay you for one job and then say you couldn't take other jobs?
Yeah.
People are wild. Like I was a freelancer for years before working here, and the stuff people ask you to do for free, like it's really wild. I had somebody. So I did this guy's masterclass, honestly, like I did it for pretty cheap compared to what it was, or considering what it was. Like most people would have charged a lot more. But I was trying to like prove myself as a producer. So I produced and shot and edited, just did effects for this guy's like auditioning masterclass. And after it was all done, he, and after the payment and everything, he shouted me out and told everybody like, hey, if you ever need anybody to like do this stuff, like reach out to him. And so then I got a message from someone who was saying like, hey, can you write and direct and produce and edit 2 original scenes entirely for me to put on my reel, and as payment I will tell my friends about you. I was like, so that they can also ask me for free stuff? Like what are you talking, like, and she was like, oh, don't worry, I have ideas for the scenes. But her ideas were just like, I want to play like a funny character and then like a dramatic character. I'm like, it's not ideas. Like you're asking me to like come up with like material that I'm happy with.
Basically, she's asking you to do all her works while she can put it on her portfolio, essentially.
Yeah, it's asking me to basically make 2 short films for her, basically, for free.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was rough. People are weird to freelancers. For 2 years? A non-compete for 2 years? Are you kidding me? Can we get a floating, rotating alien artifact when y'all get around to sci-fi? Yeah, we're gonna we're gonna do that thing that was on Critical Role for sure. Well, gonna make a Euro than a US convention. That makes sense. You edit the contract before you send it back, changing the word to compete, then send them a half-finished sculpt. Originally asked for free labor to not shift once you leave freelance. As long as you're doing something people want, they'll want it without paying for it. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's a thing where it's like, okay, so if it's not important enough for you to pay me for it, then why don't you just do it yourself? Like if it's something that is worth so little respect and doesn't deserve like pay, then why is it something you need me to do? Like, you're coming to me and asking me to make things for you. So clearly it requires some kind of skill or work or effort or something that you're not willing to put in.
Also, I love the idea that a lot of these people just think that their exposure is like so golden that they know like all the top producers or all these connections that like get you to the height of their careers. Like, dude, most of these people who say that are cheap nobodies.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing, and that was the thing with her. Was like she was somebody who went union off of doing background work, and
Oh dear.
so she was union, but she had no actual footage of her acting in anything. She had never actually acted in anything. She had no name. She had no connections to anything. So it's like, so what is your exposure actually going to do for me? Like,
Like, I understand that she needs this, but
But nah.
you can't
Yeah.
just make other people do your work for you.
yeah, it's a mess sometimes.
Definitely just like try to do your own home shot reel or something like that, and then try to like prove on that.
Ask them if they can name the man who did the woodcut for the picture of Washington on the $1 bill and tell them Betty's getting a lot of exposure. I saw that going around on Twitter recently. I don't know who initially made that argument, but it's a pretty good point. I also then saw somebody responding to it where they're saying like, actually, I bet he did get a lot of exposure. I'm like, okay, but you can't
But
prove
work was
it.
done and pay them.
Yeah, my only thing is like, I'm sure he actually did get paid. So I'm hoping, I hope he actually got paid.
I mean, I assume he actually did get paid, but also it's a little bit different from like a government thing versus some random person. I'm not saying it's okay, but at least there is a little bit of like.
Yeah, that was the other thing. It's just like just asking for like this massive favor, and it's like I don't know you. You don't know me. Like,
Aren't you friends if like that you're talking about?
if you've got important friends with connections, why can't they do?
Yeah.
Like if you're pulling that kind of weight with people who matter, like, well, yeah, then why aren't they doing it?
So when I moved to New York,
Over 5 years ago now.
the theater union.
You're a baby.
Yeah, the theater union required 50 weeks of union work to get into the union.
I guess they would go by weeks, huh? Instead of
Yep, it was work weeks.
compared to film.
And
where
some contracts, 1 week would give you half a point. You need 50 points. And sometimes 1 week would be half a point. And I got to 20 weeks, and I said, I want to leave my hometown. I'm just gonna go and like not try to get to 50 weeks. But I had 20. Then, like right when I moved, less than a year, way less than a year, they switched it to 25, which was like one short contract that I could have had and be union,
Wow.
and actually have like some credits. And then this year,
you have to do it in the same place.
within a month, no, you just have to be on the contract, so you can do it anywhere. And then this month, they just said anyone who has any weeks at all can be in the union.
Does your weeks expire?
No. So I could be in it now, but it was like when I moved, I was like, oh man, I should have just stayed for like one more show.
Yeah, but you're not doing much.
Yeah,
Was
now
it
nowadays I
active?
haven't been doing it.
Yeah, and you'll have to pay for union fees.
You
right?
gotta pay it's like $2,000 or $3,000 a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez, yeah.
Magus,
Hi, I'm
boy howdy.
Boy howdy. Cream. I'm only here
Cream? Did
to
someone say-
let you guys know I have to help Julio with the ladder.
You're
with
kidding
the
me.
LARP shields. Yeah, I'm not. Wish I were. I'll
All
be
right,
back in.
thanks for joining us. Happy Yanks cancel because of Mace.
Oh,
Mace.
well, I'll be back in 20
Mace.
minutes, so cancel the stream, but I'll be here alone
We'll
painting.
reactivate. Yeah.
I'll do my live feed then.
Okay.
Alright, I'll be back.
Okay. Bye.
We don't need you anyway.
I know, Toby, I'm sorry. Wait, have we told everybody that tomorrow's Toby's birthday?
Now
Oh,
I'm-
Toby's birthday tomorrow. I got some hype in the chat.
you did. Yeah.
Yo, can we get some poggers in chat?
Oh god.
Anybody got any birthday cake emojis?
Yeah, from other channels.
Yeah. Oh man. You just make like a random birthday cake emoji, and it's just because. I don't know why I'm saying emoji. It's emotes.
Yeah, this is Twitch. Come on.
Let's see. Let's get that in there.
I can't read it, but I see some emotes.
Oh, they're actually using emojis, so that works too.
You're actually using emojis. Oh, nice. Happy leveling up day.
Yeah, you're leveling up.
Yeah, I'm 31.
Nice.
3-day cons give the time required to travel over there. Games Expo.
I don't feel
What's
like
the-
it at all.
I
There's-
feel that. I'm gonna be 30. I'm like, when do I grow up?
Dude, I now actually just moved into a place that feels like an adult place.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's very rare to be thinking
My
about.
last place felt more like that, but
Mine definitely is the best place that I've lived, but I still have roommates, so I'm like, I'm not growing up yet.
That's my main thing. It's just I hit the point where I'm like, I can't live with random people anymore.
I just couldn't handle that to begin with. I'm just like,
Oh yeah, I mean it sucks.
It was never good, but it was like a thing of it was like a survival thing. It was like
Right.
I need to have a roof over my head.
Well,
So-
then again, I also, since I grew up in the city,
Right.
I stayed with my parents for a while.
Yeah.
I could, yeah. So Yeah. What time is it?
7:05.
Mark it.
Market. Man, this is the smallest group we've had for the hang in a while.
I know.
Oh.
Where the heck is Miles?
him
Having a
and-
life?
Yeah, him and his wife are going out to,
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Living with random people in the pandemic was part of why I fled New York. That's different opinions on what is appropriate social distancing and how many guests can you have over were for... Yikes. Yeah, and see, that's why I can't do random roommates. I was lucky the last several years. I got to live with just people that I knew and liked. I got to live with Tyler and Miles and Max. Like, it was just some combination of those three over the last like 4 years, and that was great. Like, but you know, all three of them now live with their respective partners,
Oh.
and I was just like, there's nobody left that I know well to live with, and I don't want to live with random college kids again.
Yeah, right.
Can't do that.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you put out the listing, you'd be getting those people. It's like, I don't want to interact with your age group again.
Yeah. And it's the whole thing where it's like, I want to be able to like make stuff
Right.
at home, which is one of the nice things. Is like, yeah, I was able to make things while living with those people because like they get it.
They understood, yeah.
But yeah, you're just rolling the dice so much when you live with random people.
Did Tyler really get it though?
So yeah, could not do that. But yeah, I get it, Commerce. I wish you didn't leave the city, but it is what it is.
But I understand.
Yeah. Now we can't go we can't go check out the Maple Bar place.
What is that?
I still got to do that. So I was talking. There was a couple months ago I was just like craving Maple Bars, and I realized that like they don't really have them here.
Oh, maple. I thought you meant like a bar, as in like beer.
A beer, but they have like maple syrup that they serve on
Yeah.
tap.
Yeah.
See, if you had grown up in the Pacific Northwest, you would have immediately known what I meant by Maple Bar. But like everybody I talked to here has never had them.
In the upper Midwest, it was lemon bars and all the.
Oh, lemon bars
Potlucks.
are incredible.
Oh yeah.
See, a lemon bar isn't like a weird regional thing though.
No, right. But it is a picnic classic.
Yeah, lemon bars are very good.
So is it like a similar thing but maple flavored, like a pastry?
It's
thing?
basically a maple frosting instead of a chocolate frosting.
That sounds awesome.
And specifically, there was a donut place back in my hometown that would just cake it on. It was so good, like. And I was one of those families where like donuts were a breakfast food.
Yeah.
So I'd get up in the morning and have a maple bar, and man, it was wild. I think they might have them in Vermont and stuff too, which it's what we should do when we're in Vermont.
Oh right, you're going out there to film Eli, right?
Yes.
Oh, I mean no.
Yeah. No.
Just to visit the chickens.
Yeah. Yeah. So. No, we should do that because I think it is there as well because it's a thing in Canada, and then the Pacific Northwest. Because we were very close to Canada, and so I think it's also in Vermont.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's like super close to Canada, so when we go to Banjuwatas, you kind of cross the border a little bit. And Tim Hortons, I always got the maple donuts there.
One of my friends from high school visited a couple weeks ago, and she was like, "Oh, is there anything from home you want me to bring?" And I was like, "Unless you can find a way to safely transport donuts, like." So I've been dying for a maple bar, they just don't have them here. But like that's impossible. So instead, she got the stuff to make. It's a donut.
Oh, I thought you meant like a lemon bar. It's not.
No,
No,
it's
I
not.
said lemon bar. Sorry.
Okay. So I know what you're talking about.
So instead, she got the stuff to make maple bars. And
Oh,
they
okay.
have at Tim Hortons, right? The maple bars.
they might.
I've seen it before.
Wasn't there a Tim Hortons like in Times Square?
There was. It was very bad.
Oh no!
That's the only Tim Hortons I've been to, and I was just like, I don't think this is.
If it makes you feel any better, I had one in Montreal, and it wasn't that good. So I don't
Here's
know.
the thing where like
It might have been that one was bad, but the one in New York was bad. The one there was bad.
It's the thing, like, yeah, I had it and I'm like, I refuse to believe this is what the Canadians are crazy about.
That's fair.
Because I was just like, it just seems like the McDonald's of convenience stores. Like, I don't know.
Chuck says, I recommend joining the Air Force as a way to ease into growing up. Honestly, I've had some friends who are in the military, and, like, not a bad route, honestly. Like, you leave and it sets you up financially, and, like, you learn a lot of skills.
Every one of my friends who went into the military were the people I want less to be around firearms. If I'm being, if I'm being completely honest.
See, my friend
Like-
that went in, he, like, went to college with me. He didn't go, like, right out of high school, so, like, he was a little more, he, like, grew into himself before he went, so it didn't, like, define him.
The only
But-
one I know that, well, I know 54, yes, but the one who was a friend of mine in high school, he dropped out, and then he went there, and then he dropped out of the military, so.
Oh.
And then he became homeless, so.
Oh, there you go.
My closest
He
friend
wasn't
that
the
joined the military, Jesse, he every story I have of him, I have a lot of great stories, but they're all about him being like destructive in very stupid ways. Like this dude, one of my favorite stories is he had a cut on his nose
Okay.
because one day while we were walking down the street, he saw a Zippo lighter on the ground.
Oh, no.
And he was like, "Oh, a lighter!" He bent over and picked it up, and he just stared at it for a second, and then he just spiked it against the ground.
What the heck?
And so it like and like the spur thing like shot up and like cut his nose.
Shit.
Like-
whiz.
Yeah.
I can't imagine my friend ever just stopping that.
Yeah. I feel like Chris could weasel his way behind the counter at Pike Place. Oh, probably, dude. Pike Place is a lot of fun to go to, but it also smells pretty bad. Pike Place is fun though.
Is it Pipe Place or Pie Place?
Pike,
Pike.
like the fish.
Okay,
Northern Pike.
so I was wrong on both.
It's
counts.
it's the massive fish market in Seattle. And you go there and you just see people just like throwing fish
I
around.
don't go to Seattle.
Are there pike in the Northwest?
I assume so. It'd be really weird if it was called Pike Place otherwise. But it's like right on the so Seattle is like right on the Puget Sound, which you know how Washington has like that weird like that like dent in it,
Mm-hmm.
and on the left side there's like that thing that sticks up. The water that goes down into that like hole is the Puget Sound,
Okay.
and so Pike Place is like right off of that.
Huh.
Doesn't smell that bad. It's just insanely crowded. It doesn't smell that bad because you're used to it.
Yeah, that sounds like Times
Fabulous.
Square or something. It's like, it is bad, but
You learn to deal with it. I certainly did, but like, yeah, it's
although I will say, Fabulous, I would like to get out to Seattle at some point in my life, just to see it.
Me too.
Seattle's fun.
I want to go to the West Coast tomorrow.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what people
going
say
on
about New York, but it's both.
Yeah.
They knocked out the viaduct, so the place has an even better view now. Oh, wait, really? They can just get rid of the viaduct? Wait. So they could have just done that at any time? Replaced it with a giant tunnel. So why did they ever have it? Like they didn't need to have it then. I thought the whole reason it was there was just like, it's a necessary evil. We gotta have this big eyesore in the middle of a. Now I'm just mad.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but I'm glad that you're mad.
I don't either. I'm just laughing at Chris's reactions.
Yeah. Be more angry.
More angry. Let's see. Let's get that going. tunnels are hard because it was falling apart. There's a really good reason for that. It's because people back in the nuclear age thought that having big giant highways in the middle of cities was super modern and efficient. It turns out it was not. That's why the Big Dig removed the giant double-decker highway running through Boston. It's also why New York City is covered in dumb highways. That makes a lot of sense. Have you seen... Okay.
That's what
Who here has driven into Portland from the north?
Not me.
There is the scariest, like... the scariest, like, a 12-year-old tried to tie a Christmas present and, like, the ribbons are all over the place. That's what, like, the highways look like.
Oh my god.
There's just, like, this massive, Every time we drive on it, it terrifies me. Like, I get the vibes. You know how in Rainbow Road in Mario Kart 64, like, the highways feel like that.
Okay.
It feels like you can just skip off the side and land on, like, a further part of the track, like,
Oh my
100
God.
feet down. It's like, oh, it's a shortcut, except you would die.
Have you
Because
done it?
it's... What's that?
Have you done it?
In Mario Kart, yes.
But not in the highway.
It's awful. I haven't done it on the highway. It's awful. There is, though, if you're going to, like, Astoria or Seaside? No, in Oregon.
I thought you
But
were
I-
saying
I-
Astoria in Oregon?
Yes.
Oh.
I think when you're going to Astoria, I think this is where it is. There's this really beautiful, like, long bridge that you drive over. It's like built like an actual road, and you're like driving like along the. Like they probably could have just had you drive on land to get there, but like there's this very very long bridge just over the water. And it's just like a long flat road, and I have this memory burned into my mind of driving down that like long bridge over the water and like having like the sunset like on the waves and all that as we're driving there, and on the radio it was playing "Give Me the Beat Boys," and it's like one of the most like it's like one of the most like comfy memories I think I have.
That reminds me of a similar memory I have. It was like maybe my 11th or 12th birthday, and we were in St. Paul, Minnesota, driving to the Science Museum, where they had a Star Wars exhibit, and it was for my birthday, and all my friends were going, but it was like kind of, it had just gotten dark, and we're sort of driving there, relaxing in the car, and Closing Time was playing. Whenever I hear that song, I think of that.
Closing Time.
Yeah.
I learned to play that on the harmonica in high school.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh man, that song, like, people loved that song.
Yeah.
I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want.
So is there a relation between Astoria, Oregon, Astoria, Queens?
No.
Is there a relation between Springfield?
Everywhere?
You know there's a
fair.
Portland. You know there's a Portland, Maine, right?
Really?
There's a Portland, Maine.
What the heck?
Yeah.
You know,
There's a map that I saw on Twitter a couple days ago. I see everything on Twitter. There's a map that was labeled "No, not that one," and it was just every city in every state that like you would know more as a city in another state.
That's funny.
So they had like Paris, Texas.
That one I know because I remember there was like a weird bush park.
Isn't there like a Rome in California or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on the list.
I remember when I was like applying for colleges, I got one in like a college mail. There was like College of. I think the town was called that. It was like California in Pennsylvania.
Oh wow.
It was so confused.
Oh, you know what? I think it was something like Venice in California, and I knew someone from a college that would
Venice
say
Beach?
Venice Beach?
Probably, but they would say that they lived in Venice, and they wouldn't specify that it was in California.
Because they wanted to live. They wanted to pretend like they're.
Yeah, they wanted to pretend, but it's like they wouldn't clarify to a person when obviously your first thought would be it was in Italy.
Yeah, because I like that. makes them feel important.
It makes people ask questions, you know?
Hi, Mace.
Hi.
Nice.
You're back, finally.
Yeah, hi.
Round of applause for Mace. Let's get some hype in the chat. Just me. Okay.
I mean, you're not gonna hear the
Yeah,
chat.
That's Donkey Kong's victory.
Are you having her do Donkey Kong?
Yeah, that's Donkey Kong's victory, right?
Yeah, it is. From Smash.
Yeah. And then just wiggle around.
Toby and I are the video game boys of the office.
You're the video game boy?
We're the video
You're
game
the one
boys.
that wins?
No, please don't. quote
Sorry,
that guy.
okay, sorry. I'm done. It's nothing. It's horrible streamers that
Streamer?
just, well, he definitely streams
They-
Pokemon
they-
unboxings now. He's
they
a
did stream
streamer
a
more
bit.
than anything else.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Hamster's also a gamer, but he's like a different kind of gamer than Toby and I think.
Yeah, I mean, look. I do enjoy like the games you guys are talking about, but I just get obsessed with the games that try to make you obsessed, which I guess is all of them now. But
You're a big shooter
I'm
guy.
a big shooter guy because I just get obsessed at like being good at them, even though that's impossible with all the high school kids with no jobs and the streamers that are full time. But I must try.
Why do you need to be the best?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you, Toby. That would like answer my whole life.
Have you not heard the Pokemon theme? You have to be the very best.
Yeah, but Pokemon's not a shooter.
I thought you were like,
Oh, it is.
have
when
you
play
played-
Pokemon Snap?
Yeah.
So.
yeah.
That's good.
I gotta try the new update.
Okay.
I want to play that with Chelsea so bad because I feel like she would really like it.
Who couldn't?
She had never heard of the series before,
What?
and so after they showed the trailer,
Okay, it wasn't a series until, like...
it wasn't a series. It got a re-release on the Virtual Console.
Having a re-release is not making a series.
The point is, she had never heard. Okay, at this point, it had been like announced that there was a new one coming, so it was a series by that point.
Okay,
It just hadn't come out yet.
Should we switch?
Point is,
yeah, let's... Can I say over so I can
Duke it
punch
out?
him?
Hey, it's Toby's birthday tomorrow. You be nice.
yes, I gotta get it in now.
Oh, true, fair.
I'll
Um,
take it out.
yeah. So she'd never heard of the game before. So I was just like, okay, I need you to watch this without any context. So like while I was on a call with her, I just like sent her the trailer, and just like watched in real time as like different Pokemon like showed up in the trailer, and just like her reactions. It was one of like the purest things I've ever seen. I'm very excited to play it, but it's a thing like I want to play it with her just because it's like I feel like that would be
Special.
yeah. You guys want to hear one of my ideas?
Yeah.
It depends on what the idea is.
I do.
Yeah, drop it on us.
Won't promise I like it.
Hamster's a gamer with a capital G. Speaking of which, Mountain Dew energy, let's go. Or Mountain Dew.
Oh,
Mountain Dew
dude,
beer,
I am
alcohol.
ashamed of how
Hard
much I
Mountain Dew.
want to drink that.
I dropped, dude. When they announced the hard Mountain Dew, I like dropped it in the office Slack, and I was like, can we get like 1,000 cases of this for the office?
I forgot that you did that. I knew that, like, I saw it somewhere. I guess you did.
That's funny.
I can't believe it's a real thing.
I'm not surprised at all.
I'm 1,000% gonna try.
Now what's called Arizona is also doing their spike stuff.
Well,
Wait, Arizona?
Warheads has a special sour ale too that I'm
Who
actually
does?
going.
Warheads?
Oh, Warheads, the candy.
Oh!
I'm going somewhere special this weekend just so I can try it.
You know what?
Wait, is it did they do it or did they team up with someone?
They teamed up with I think it's called. It's not Black Horse, but it's something. It's a brewery.
Dark Horse Comics.
Maybe.
Dark Horse Comics.
It's a brewery in the northeast. So.
I'm only gonna drink the Warheads drink if there's a scale like there was on the bag. That's like, if
Oh,
you
yeah,
drink
yeah,
this much, you're
Dude,
like X level.
I destroyed my taste buds
Yeah.
for like 2 weeks doing the extreme sours.
The extreme, yeah.
It's like you just need to feel something
Yeah.
in middle school.
Exactly.
There's always emo people out there, and there was you just shoving warheads in your mouth.
Bad horse, says Vertex.
It is.
Mellow yellow better than Mountain Dew.
Oh,
I do
sure
like
that.
Mellow
Pretty
Yellow.
sweet.
I
Yeah.
had mellow yellow recently.
I love Mellow Yellow. Every
Dude.
time I go to the Midwest, that's where they stock it up like crazy.
Is
so
it?
I'm like,
Is it
"Alright."
mostly there?
I've never seen it out here. So.
Really?
saw that
I just thought
no-
it was a normal thing because of
You know those
Midwest.
machines that have 100 different flavors?
Yeah.
Shout out to
Wendy's once
those.
had it.
Okay.
but it had different flavors as well.
Shout out to
Okay, write this
those.
down.
Shout out to those reliable sodas who like rarely or never advertise, but are still
Yeah.
always just there, like holding the fort down. Anybody have Sierra Mist?
Yes.
Sierra Mist is good stuff.
No.
What's it called in
Yes, it
German?
is.
No.
It
it's
was
weak.
good. What are you
It's
talking
weak.
about?
It's so weak compared to all of it. Yeah, it's the weakest.
What,
soda.
Sprite and 7-Up?
Oh, I don't like those either. Well, I
Then
like
you just-
7-Up.
Okay, you don't
Then
like
you
the
just don't like
flavor
Red
then.
Cola.
You don't like the flavor,
That's not
lemon
true.
lime flavor.
I love the lemon lime flavor. That's what Mellow Yellow is.
Okay, but it's a different
Mellow
variety.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mellow Yellow is a
Mellow
different
Yellow
thing.
has flavor. The rest of it's seltzer pretending it's not.
No, right. There's that genre.
Mellow Yellow isn't like trying to be like those things though. Like it's not.
Iron
It's
Horse.
not. It's not.
Iron Horse.
It's not an Uncola.
Uncola?
Yeah. Say Uncola.
Uncola.
Uncola say what?
What?
Oh no, no. Oh, Hamster's an Uncola.
Yay!
What's an Uncola?
I wish I was on
It's
cola.
it's like
Too
what
much.
Sprite described itself as because it's like because it's not a brown soda. So like it's advertising like like Sprite called it. I think it was Sprite. It might have been 7-Up. Called itself like the Uncola for a while.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't do it still, and I assume it's because it's like, what does this mean? But like that was like their advertising for a while.
What's that?
Look, I'm not their marketing exec. Like
Oh no, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the colas or the
Right.
the uncolas.
Tweet at him.
Okay.
Tweet your disapproval. Everybody tweet Sprite right now. It's like, hey, heard about what you did.
Not cool.
And
Yeah,
are like
not-
and are no longer doing.
Yeah,
but
not-
like
Very uncola of you. Actually, it's very cola of you.
You'll never be one of the cola kids.
Oh, true. Is the entire pop market called the cola sack or like what's
love
going
that
on?
you
Nice.
call it pop. Pop is a soda.
Yeah, pop is what the Midwesterners.
No, that's what the real term is.
No, it's
Did I
not.
say pop?
Yeah,
Oh. Oh, my bad.
and I appreciated it.
My Iowa's coming out.
I once, and speaking of gaming, I was in like a lobby of like Counter-Strike Source once, and like it was in that era where people still talked on like open mics and stuff. And I was just in passing said pop, and everyone fell silent, and then all started making fun of me for
Yeah.
saying pop.
That's
I
one of the-
normally say soda now just because I've had it.
That's the one. Here's the thing. I feel like my accent has gotten worse since I've been out here. I don't know why, but that has been conditioned out of me a little bit. I haven't said
Yeah.
pop. Yeah.
I don't know what it
Crystal
is.
Pepsi. Oh man,
Oh,
dude, there are people who have like vaults of Crystal Pepsi.
there's people who buy that
bad.
on
What
eBay
is
for
Crystal
$40.
Pepsi?
They just
It's
re-
Pepsi that came out in the 90s.
But they just
Oh.
re-released it last year, right?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, they
it was
did.
longer than that.
It
It
was a year
came
or
out
two
with
ago.
the
They-
Back to the Future thing.
Yeah, they did like a
It's like-
yeah.
No. It was definitely out last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Crystal Pepsi. Back to the Future. They released the bottle, the Pepsi bottle that was looked like it was from the movie.
Oh.
Okay.
I wanted that bottle, but I couldn't get it.
No, go on eBay.
I think he knows his
It's
stuff.
like no, I love it. It's really pricey.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Snooze, lose.
Best Pepsi flavor I've
Unless
tried?
you go back to the future and just get one for a nickel
Oh,
back
there
in
you
that
go.
actual era.
You
Yeah.
know, if you hit that snooze button, you might as well be hitting the lose button.
True that.
2015.
I actually, when the new Ghostbusters came out, they
Oh,
had
yeah.
a relaunch of Ecto Cooler.
Oh,
And
man.
when that was out, I was like straight up, I probably am like just gonna get diabetes from having so much of that alone. Like it was like 6 cans a day. But I do look at the prices on eBay because I'm kind of like, I want to drink that. every
See,
single minute.
back in the
I
day.
want Pepsi Fire again, and that's gone.
Oh.
Is that the cinnamon one? Or
Yeah, I
whatever?
loved it so much.
Really?
Everyone hated it.
Yeah, I didn't like it, but I wasn't a
I
cinnamon
love
guy in
yeah.
general. So.
I love like Fireball or that kind of cinnamon flavor.
Oh, that'll
Don't scoff at me. The Upper Midwest is like salt is the only seasoning. Come on.
Where am I
You're
from?
the salt of the. Sorry.
I said Upper Midwest.
Is that not
Pepsi
the upper
salt.
Midwest?
Yeah. So
Okay,
you're the
so
outlier.
why would you not
You're
get
the outlier.
cinnamon though? What's this about salt? You want
Too
salt
spicy.
Pepsi?
Too
You want
spicy.
salt Pepsi?
Cinnamon too spicy.
All right, fine. I'm not gonna argue with too spicy.
You know what? When I was growing up though, I drank a bunch of Surge. And I traded
Surge!
Yeah, I traded in the bottle caps for like a black beach hat that had the logo on it.
Nice.
And remember when they brought it back and they were selling it on like Amazon and stuff? when I went back to the Minnesota State Fair, which is the best state fair on earth, they had. Hello?
Go on. I'm listening, but I disagree.
Especially people in the upper Midwest agree with that.
No,
Come on.
Iowa! Are you kidding me?
Hello?
That's the only thing we have!
Sweet Martha's cookies? Hello?
Deep fried everything, and
Okay,
I know
anyway,
you're there.
let me ask you this. Have you been to the Minnesota State Fair?
No, why would
All
I?
right, and then
No,
you
but
can't
have
tell.
you been to the Iowa State Fair?
Yeah.
Not convincing.
No, I have
you
not,
can't talk. Yeah.
It's friggin' awesome. And
But it's the same thing.
they had so basically there's like tents on the curb outside of the state fairgrounds because like people are trying to sell their stuff because a bunch of people walking there. And there was a whole tent of someone who just like bought a bunch of Surge on Amazon and was selling it. And I was like, yes, I bought a bunch of it.
The Surge yurt.
Yeah.
The best pet food flavor I had was this one in Japan. It was like cucumber flavor.
Ooh.
Cucumber Pepsi.
Yeah, it was actually really good.
I'd be into that.
I know I'm thinking. I'm staring at you as
Yeah.
the void, but
It's
it sounds good.
I didn't think it would be good, but it's like this like cucumber candy daily sweet.
I feel like it would make it like lighter, but also fresh.
Yeah, it's like this like weird like
I'm not anti cucumber Pepsi.
yeah.
What was the strangest concoction you had while you've been in Japan?
Okay, so there was, I think I may have mentioned this, but the strangest one was this like, there's a ice pop flavor, or ice pop company I really like called Gari Gari Kun. It's like this really, like, it's really cheap, but they recently have been experimenting with weird flavors. And they did both a Neapolitan pasta flavored ice pop.
What is
With real-
Neapolitan pasta?
That's
Basically, it's basically, I don't know what's exactly in it, like, but the sauce is has a lot of ketchup as
Okay.
a base. But they will put like real frozen chunks of tomato in the ice pop.
oh.
Then they also did a potato stew flavored ice pop. And
So
with
like
real,
savory ice pops.
yeah,
Ooh.
real
Potato
chunks
stew?
in there.
What am I
With those-
doing?
Well, okay. Frozen potatoes, I feel like I could get those by eating a tater tot out of like the freezer straight up. But like I'm into like a mix
You're
with
like,
tomato.
Screw
I'm like,
your pop,
all
because
right.
I can get tater tots
Okay,
at the
Japan.
frozen section
I see you.
at Cub Foods in Iowa. All right.
It actually wasn't bad.
I don't know if I would like the potato one, but the
Yeah, tomato one. wasn't
tomato
bad.
one sounds
Yeah.
like a
It's
piece
like a
of-
V8 pop.
Exactly. I love V8s
Yeah, it was
too.
like a little bit more.
I don't know what it
Ketchup-y?
tastes like because I don't eat vegetables, but
Well,
But
someday your doctor's gonna be like, "Hey, have a V8 pop or something."
or at least, yeah.
I can't wait for them to announce hard V8.
Yeah.
It's just Bloody Mary.
Yeah,
It's just
there
a
you
Bloody-
go.
it's just-
It's
it's
just
just
a
a
Bloody
Bloody
Mary.
Yes.
Yes.
If they, I'm
Tropicana
sorry.
Twisted.
That's when I leave. Oh, Tropicana. Oh, Hawaiian Punch.
Oh, it's funny.
Extra punch.
Hawaiian extra punch.
Extra.
There you go.
Hawaiian punch drunk.
Like extra. Oh, that's perfect. I was gonna say, like, you know how on old timey rum bottles they do the XXX, but rum punch or.
I've only seen that in cartoons, Miss.
There's something in
Okay,
7
I'm
Up.
sorry. Do you live in the real world, or have you not existed in cartoons as well? I have one place that's linear to me, and it's cartoons.
Apparently, Finley's mom gets drunk off of 7 Up.
What?
And
speaking of weird flavors,
She can really drink pints and it doesn't do much, but she should drink a can of 7 Up before
yeah,
going
cans
out
of that, yeah.
to make it a cheaper night.
Wait, is alcohol?
Is 7 Up like an alcohol accelerant? And we just didn't know?
I didn't know that.
oh,
That's
well, all
true.
carbonated soda you don't want to mix.
That sounds like you do.
Well, then what about rum and Coke?
No, you don't want to mix carbonated soda. You do mix it. It's like a lot of like the well drinks will have soda because you don't want to actually buy an up class one. But carbonated drinks actually, Coke is good, Diet Coke's worse, but like you don't want to mix carbonation with alcohol.
Why?
Diet Coke is always
That's
worse.
just like the rule. I don't know.
I haven't
specifically
heard
why
that
the
once. What does
science-
carbonation have to do with it?
Well, this is what my health class told me, so pay attention because I have no facts.
I didn't pay attention to any classes. So.
Oh, so you're talking if you want to be healthy.
Not healthy. Because, like, you're drinking.
Wait, hold on.
But, like, I think it either, like, gets you drunk or...
No. Beer is carbonated.
Yes. You don't want to mix liquor with carbonated drinks. It might just be you'll get sick easier.
No, you just don't want to
Or
drink.
dehydration thing. I don't know.
You just burp a lot and it's gross.
Yeah, that's it.
No burping here. No burping.
Excuse me. I heard you burping. I think you've had too much. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
The hiccups didn't trigger.
I can't continue to serve you if you're gonna keep belching.
So it's chips plus chips. I would try all.
Yeah.
Alright, Funyuns Lay's good. Yeah. Well, anything wavy is already better than
Just a bartender that's super concerned with etiquette.
Yeah. Excuse me, you didn't say thank you.
Can you please get your elbows off of the bar?
Even though the bar is like the place to like be hunched over, you know.
They're like, that's not very ladylike.
Yeah.
You can drink as many rum and cokes as you want, but like, please.
Please,
elbows.
posture.
If you wear your shoe,
Crossing your
And you
legs
have to,
under
and you have to
there.
drink like with your pinky up.
Yes.
If you wear shoes inside, I can't serve you.
Ooh.
They have like a little
just
welcome
Japan.
mat with all the shoes laid up. Yeah.
That just sounds like Japanese restaurants.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
I like gin and tonic.
Oh yeah. The first time I had a good gin and tonic was
You're not
this
allowed
year.
to have carbonation and alcohol.
Yes.
I didn't
Tonic
say
is
it was
illegal.
allowed.
carbonated.
I said it was. Well, I did say it's like not good, but like that doesn't
Illegal.
mean it's not allowed. It's
Nice.
illegal.
I got a hard time with gin.
Mace, we're worried about
I
you.
got a hard
I
time
used to
with
hate gin,
I like
but like
bourbon.
recently,
I want bourbon.
I
Yeah,
love
amen.
whiskeys. Like after,
Whiskey's the drink.
isn't it? You can just like. I lose count after one Jameson because I'm like, I want it all. The entire bottle.
Stop my,
Honestly,
my
like,
alcohol. I little want stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, if you're gonna have a housewarming party, you need to
Yeah,
have
actually,
something
I
to
should.
warm your guests with.
I should.
it is super hard to say no
Did I
to
tell you
Jameson.
about my idea?
Oh yeah.
It is just probably
I'll tell
the
you
best
later.
side character in like any movie.
Who?
Jameson. Give me pictures of Spider-Man.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Is that his name? I just look at him and
Jake
say
Jonah
J.K.
You
Simmons.
disagree.
Pokemon Snap style game, but instead of Professor Oak, it's J. Jonah Jameson.
I need
And it's-
pictures of Snorlax.
Instead Spinnerack's a menace!
He creates a picture and it's like it's the logo. It's like you're fired. And the next picture, you're hired.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Bye, Rabbit. Good night.
Good night, Rabbit. Bye.
Hi.
Thanks for hopping in and buying Picorni paintballs.
Popping in.
Nice, got it.
Nice.
No laughing.
Oh, sorry.
Could you imagine us trying to...
No, it's just leave.
Could you imagine us trying to pitch, like, making paintballs to Jay? Like, authentically trying to, like...
Honestly, that's a pretty good April Fool's of like.
Well, it doesn't wash away as easy as paintballs, though.
It's a high full acrylic.
But
Yeah.
it's an acrylic.
You just gotta wipe it off.
Are
before-
paintballs acrylics?
Paintballs are all food grade materials.
Yeah, see?
You can eat paintballs?
Technically.
You can also eat Play-Doh.
The way your mind just jumped there.
Just straight-
Finally, a paint I can digest.
They're like giant gushers.
Oh, true.
No, they're like I just want to say what's it called? Jawbreakers, but that's not a good.
The
I don't think they
squishies.
have.
I mean, they are if you don't. They are if you don't wear a mask.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
just a
Honestly,
job
I've been
function.
hitting the job with a mask, so
that just shows you that I've never actually gone paintball. Maybe we should take
I genuinely want to change that in Dwarven Forge because I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, change it.
You just want a chance to shoot everybody.
Oh, is
Wow.
that it?
No.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Dwarvenite paintballs. So they
Oh
never
my
they
God.
never break open.
Oh my god.
You mean like a giant BB gun?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like a CC gun?
Yeah.
Dwarvenite paintballs. So the paintballs just never burst because they're too sturdy to
They're
break.
indestructible.
Just bounces off
They'd
you.
just be so painful.
Oh, bullets. That's just bullets.
Yeah, right. There is bullets
It's
in
just
that thing.
bullets.
Oh man.
Man.
So I didn't have the time to prep what I'm actually trying to do on Hobby Hang. So I'm making the sticker for it.
Okay.
But it's very hard and I don't want to do it.
And don't.
Okay.
Be a quitter.
Okay.
Please pretend.
No, I'll just sit.
No.
I
wanna
got
see
permission
it.
to not.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Thanks.
from you, Toby.
Yeah, thanks, Toby. Always looking out for me.
Look,
I'm
Jay.
there for Jonah.
Look, Jay, you don't understand.
Jay.
Paintball's blowing up.
Yeah, Jay. I know you're worried about getting return on investment from expanding the paint line, but there's a massive paintball audience that we're not hitting.
Within our
There's a lot of
specific-
So we're
crossover.
not
No, listen. This is just part of the spectrum of wargamers. Okay, they're just
It's the ultimate
IRL
war
wargaming. Yeah.
game. Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
believe a
'cause,
lot
like-
of our audience paintballs.
Right, but yeah, that's a good call actually. So,
Honestly, that's why Rabbit Burner is the only other person I know from our group that like plays paintball. He's like the main wargamer of the.
but yeah, Hamster. So if you went to LARPing because it was like, it's related and it's like a
Yeah.
like experience. If you're trying to get into wargaming, that's more of an excuse for you to get paintball.
I was actually thinking about how we went LARPing because there are scenario games where they'll just like, it'll be like more of a military simulation like scenario paintball game. And I feel like, someone like Nate would get into that.
Mm.
If I catch all the paintballs in my mouth and eat them, it doesn't look like I've been shot. That's
I mean, that's fair. If it doesn't break, you're not out, so.
that's a professional technique.
Yeah. Oh, man. I do have a tournament at the end of August.
Oh, really? Are you scared?
Am I scared?
No, you should be.
Why, are you against me? Then
No.
I'd be scared.
No, but I cooked the books. So
Wait, did you make the paintballs?
I
Did you
eat the
make them-
paintballs,
No,
but
did
no,
you
I
make the
hired
paintballs?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker,
What the heck?
Ember Moon, which they're only good at wrestling, so you might be okay. But I've made them train every day since.
So,
I was
so like
oh.
they probably won't be able to shoot you, but just don't get close to them.
They're close range combat.
Don't let them
You see the-
melee you.
You're sitting in the middle of the forest, and then you just hear something. You see the Rock just running at you.
If
full
I saw The
speed.
Rock at one of my tournaments, I would just concede right there. Like,
Well, have fun.
I'd be less worried about seeing The Rock and more concerned if you don't see John Cena.
there.
You're like, wait, I can like we're missing someone.
You'll never see him.
It's the Pac-Man Paintball League. I once thought a yellow paintball was gum. Dude, you just fill one of those one of those gumball machines with nothing but paintballs and
I don't even know how big paintballs are.
just set up.
Dumb size.
Oh, you just set up like a hidden camera.
And people burst
Probably
in
like-
flames.
Yeah, and just wait
Well,
for
Well, I
people
was
like.
thinking
here,
the
they're
opposite,
like
where you
that
load
big.
up a gun
With the
with
shape?
Not that shape,
like a
but like
paintball
that.
gun with
stab.
gum.
That dimension.
And
Yeah,
it
you
leaves
get
welts
stabbed.
and everything, but then like genuinely,
Oh,
you
it's like
break
this
your
thing
molar,
that
but you dunk
ejects
it
the
out.
person with paint.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
It
that's a good
poisons
idea.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all lethal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Hey,
so
okay,
Oh, okay.
good talk.
all right,
$5.
okay. What's your Venmo?
Oh my god. I actually tried to Venmo you $5 once, and
You did a few times, and I was like, "This is Monopoly money." Each time.
You Venmoed Monopoly money.
Yeah.
yeah, my digital wallet has Monopoly money in it.
Yeah.
Wait, did you actually?
Yeah, like.
I did
think
try to
3
pay
or
her for
4
$5.
times, Yeah.
You know, call her bluff.
And
Yeah, what are you gonna do when you have money, Mace?
And she took my money. No, no, she didn't.
I asked
She
for
returned
more
it and I
money.
spent it on a
I was
pizza.
like, "This $5. I need more $5."
I think she returned it. I spent it on Domino's pan pizza, which she recommended to me. So
All right, great. Good job.
yeah,
Oh, Domino's.
Do you?
so good.
Well, how badly do you want Domino's? Because now that you said it, I'm blocking out everything that you're saying where it's against.
Where it's not Domino's.
It's,
Yeah.
well, no, I have a bad tendency of these days, especially since after I moved where nothing was set up, or just like I give up and just want to get like a crappy fast food or something like that.
That's not Domino's, but
But
It
I'm
is
saying,
fast
I
food,
see.
but
I
it's
see
not
what
that.
you're saying. You're saying fast food in
Yeah.
the sense that it's quick.
I'm saying fast food in the sense that the McDonald's across the street from me will probably kill me.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
I'm forever
have
impressed with
gumballs
Mace for
and
working,
McDonald's.
like being able to work 2 full-time jobs. One, doing everything here at Golden
Domino's
Forge,
Green.
and the other just being like a full-time Domino's chef.
Just the advocate on the streets.
Non-
Marketing Domino's.
Non-stop brand ambassador
Yeah,
for
we
the
just-
Noid.
You just had the
For
opportunity
the
to order
Noid. Yeah.
pizza, and you did. When we played Magic.
I know, but like I'm not gonna make you guys. Well, at the time I was like, I'm not gonna eat it. What do I care what they're eating? So I'm gonna order you guys.
So you ordered a giant
local
uncut
stuff.
pizza.
Well, I had to make it too. Ungrateful child.
Doesn't cut it.
Oh, I missed the hobby hang.
Yeah, it's been we missed 2 weeks in a
We
row.
missed 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why it feels so long. I wasn't sure if I missed one myself or just.
LMAO, Chris coming up with a prank that ends up with kids eating paint. It's a good prank.
It is a good
I think
prank.
it'd be
A
hilarious.
harmless prank.
That's one of the best. That's one of the best like hidden camera pranks I think I've ever thought of.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah,
What's next? You want to convince kids to eat Tide Pods?
Why not? They
like
already
they
doing
need
it.
convincing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do something hard, not a.
How's that? Okay.
It's super easy to get them to eat Tide
Convince
Pods,
kids to
unfortunately.
eat gumballs. Now that's the tricky one. That's
Trying
one I
to
have a
trick
hard
kids into
time.
eating
I
vegetables.
was going to say.
Yeah, it's like a grocery store vending machine. The quarter machine has like Brussels sprouts in it. And they're like, ew.
Oh, how does it even
Brussels
fit through the
I want
slot?
gumballs.
Just imagine doing that, and then like a long asparagus just comes like.
to like
It-
make
it-
it.
yeah, they're used to like the bouncy balls. They pull the Brussels sprout. They're like, oh, that's not bouncy.
There's supposed to be 800 bouncy balls on the top of that.
Or you get a cherry tomato.
Yeah.
Oh, what a bummer. I don't like this prank.
Yeah.
I like
Mace-
I like the prank where you make kids sad.
Yeah, I like the prank where you make them eat stuff.
I just like disappoint them.
That was actually really messed up. Was it like Jimmy Kimmel like did the thing whenever he's like, I want you to film your kids like you get them like opening their Christmas presents and it's just toilet paper.
Oh my god. No. I think there was one
That
where it
sounds like
was
a Kimmel thing.
it was Halloween and they
Oh,
like
they.
Oh no, it was the parents are taking their Halloween candy.
Yeah.
They would tape their children being like, this is mine now. And the kids are
No,
like
no, no.
devastated.
No, it's not that. It's
What is it?
I ate all your candy.
Oh yeah, I ate
Yeah.
all
And
your
then
Halloween
they get a
candy.
reaction, and it's so sad because some of the kids are so nice, and they're like, "That's okay."
Yeah,
And
they're like,
it's
"That's
no,
okay.
it's not.
I hope you enjoyed it. It's like, oh my god.
It's so sad.
It's only funny when it's like the kids who scream.
Yeah, because they need to learn a lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scan straight.
I don't know if they're scared.
I would be pretty scared if somebody
I think
took
they're
my
just
candy.
I think they're just mad.
They're mad their candy's gone.
Yeah, like I
Scan straight.
scared straight.
Wasn't that a show though where like
Yeah.
kids will be brought into prison and they're
Yes.
like, listen, if you don't do your homework, I'm gonna cut you.
Well, that was an
That's
SNL skit.
verbatim, their opener.
That was an SNL skit.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a recurring thing.
Well, it's also a real show.
Yes.
Okay.
But that extreme where he was saying like that, you know, they like that was the whole thing. It was they'd always like have guests in it. I think it was Keenan.
Mm-hmm.
Kane Thompson.
Who's the other one? I can't remember who else was it. It was Keenan and I thought it was Keenan and then someone else were always in it, and then it was whoever was hosting the episode would be the third person.
No. I think it's
Was
somebody
it always
that's
just-
in the child is the one that's like on the cast, and I think the person that's hosting it is the second person that's scaring the stream.
Oh. It was
I
the
explicitly
host.
remember Taylor Swift hosted one time.
Oh, you're
and-
right. No, you're right.
And
She
she,
did.
and they tried to have her be like and she couldn't do it.
Oh no, dude, that's
Like-
always the worst when like the sketch is good, but like the host is like not in it.
I remember liking that sketch a lot when I was a kid. I have no idea how I feel about it now.
Rewatch it. Let us know.
I honestly haven't watched SNL in a long time because
I think Justin Timberlake did one of them.
Oh,
recently when what's his name was on.
who's that?
What's
Elon Musk, and it was
his
horrible.
name?
What?
Elon Musk was on it.
Oh,
It was
that's right,
horrible.
dude. I remember.
cringy.
I remember
Yeah, it was
when Twitter blew up. Like, why of all people is this person? Because
Way to
Elon.
be relatable.
No, Elon like made a tweet that was like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna pitch some sketch ideas. What should I pitch?" And people were like, "Shut up!"
It was-
Like,
Did you
it was
read
very
his
cringy.
ideas too?
no,
They
I
were
couldn't. I couldn't
so
do it. I
bad.
couldn't do
What
it.
was some of
So
the
bad.
ideas?
I couldn't.
Oh, I
do
don't
it.
even remember. But
SNL.
it was like,
I
so
haven't liked
bad.
SNL in a very long time,
Yeah.
but that stuff was particularly cringy. The Wario skit was very, very bad.
Yeah.
It was just like every, I don't know. It's just like it's the year of our Lord 2021, and we've still got people making like, what if the mushrooms in Mario were drugs?
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
like we're still at that level.
Good job, Elon. You thought of it first.
I don't think
You
he
thought of it first.
I don't even know if he thought of it.
Original thought.
I have no idea how hands-on he was in the writing, because like it varies based
Not
on like
very.
the host.
So his
There's
pitches
no
were,
way that he had a lot done.
His pitches were woke James Bond, Baby Shark and Shark Tank merged to form Baby Shark Tank. Irony Man
Okay, I
defeats
like Baby
villains
Shark
using the
Tank.
power of irony.
What
No,
the
you
heck?
don't. You like
I
Baby
don't-
Shark Tank?
Yes.
Like, is
I
it
like- I
sharks
I wish-
who are babies or babies who
I
are
wish
Shark
they
Tank?
I wish they had
Baby
done
sharks
that.
that are pitching ideas for companies.
I wish they had done that just because I would love to know if he actually had any idea for that beyond just these things both have shark in them.
Right.
Like
He just mashed two things together.
like what if there was actually like a lot of comedic
Come on,
potential in
guys,
that
be
idea?
Nice to Elon Musk.
Space Daddy.
Yeah, he's.
But man, I'm trying to.
What has he done to you?
I remember like loving the Justin Timberlake episodes when I was a kid.
Well, he's like a decent actor too, so like he kind of gets into it a little more.
It's always interesting like seeing like there are some actors that just like SNL is when you realize that like they're just not very flexible at all.
Well,
And then there are some that like really surprise you. Like Justin Timberlake surprised me because I didn't think he'd be able to like do.
Well, he was good friends with Andy Samberg too. That's why he was a reoccurring guest. But he's also done acting before that. He's kind of like one of those like.
Oh, yeah, he was a Mickey Mouse kid, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but you know what? Here's the thing too. I honestly, here we go, parallel. I feel like it's a lot different. It's similar to working at Dwarven Forge, right? Like. You,
Were you
no,
a musketeer,
let me finish. Like, you can be a hobbyist, right? Like, you can be a painter, whatever. But like, working at Dwarven Forge is a whole different animal, right? And so at SNL, it's kind of a whole different animal too, where the actors like, you know, they have like cue cards and stuff. Like, it's really fast paced. Things are changing all the time. It's like that's true on sets too, but like, I just feel like some people might be thrown into the SNL bubble for the night and like not be, like you said, not be flexible. Like they can't roll with that. And it's not the same as like having a script and being on set for 4 weeks.
Well, I feel like it's when you really find out, like, okay, you get cast because you come off one very specific way,
Right,
and so
right.
they can edit you to look good,
Right.
or you're just attractive.
Yeah.
Like-
and so you make them as a character in a sketch, and it's like, oh, you can't actually like.
But
do
then there
that.
are some like there's some actors that like because they're like super attractive, like they always play like leading men or something,
Right.
or so they don't ever get to play like a variety of roles or like do comedy, and then they get on SNL, and it's
Yeah.
like, man, you can do like way more than you actually get to do in.
Yeah, that is true.
in
You do
movies.
get those
Like,
surprises.
every now and then you get like that kind of surprise, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the writing just hasn't been there, so it's been hard to like showcase people for a long time, just because
Yeah.
it hasn't been good for a long time. I don't think.
I haven't kept up with it, so I can't really say, but I stopped keeping up with it because of that. So.
Now we'll never get on SNL.
You're right.
Now I'm on camera saying SNL's bad.
We're gonna make the new Mad TV, and we'll just like make the spin-off show.
As long as it gets the Baby Shark thing. Tell me you would not watch Baby Shark Tank as a toddler tears into a full-grown adult as to why the toy sucks. Here's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Is like if they actually had jokes for it, that's why I'm curious. That's why I want to like. That's why I wish it had been done. Just because like, I'm dying to know.
Right.
Did he actually have a joke idea, or was it literally just like?
That was it. Just the title. Like,
Yeah.
mashing up the title.
Yeah, he probably said it, and like, and just like looking like with a happy face at the producers of the show.
He gets up in front of like the whole writers' room. He's like, "Baby Shark Tank," and they're all just like looking at him.
I was like, well, continue.
Yeah.
It's like,
No, that's it. That's
yeah.
that's
Honestly, it's probably happening.
DK is written in yellow, right?
I think so. Yeah, it has to be. I'll
On
look
his
it up.
tie, I think it's written in yellow, and then the Nintendo on Diddy's hat is white,
Yeah.
or is it also yellow?
It's white.
Okay.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong. Uh oh.
Yeah.
I like the idea of kids pitching like crazy ideas, and we're gonna try to make it happen. See, that's the thing. Is like I think there is like, I think you can make basically anything funny if you take the right angle, and you I think there's potential in pretty much any concept. You just have to like
No, we're not.
have thought it through. So
No,
that's the
why
thing.
not?
Is I'm just like
Saturday Night Live does it.
Saturday Night Live. Here's the thing. Like a lot of time, like there are times where they'll start a skit and I'm like, this is a decent idea. Like you've got like this idea has legs, but then like it goes on for way too long, or like they don't like take it far enough. Like they don't like actually push the line at all, and so it's like, all right. Like they've had good ideas that they've kind of wasted,
Yeah.
but where's my white? Bleach then it'll be fine. You should present Baby Shark Tank as a skit to SNL. Well, somebody already did apparently.
Yep.
That's the whole thing. Oh, it's your stepmom.
Oh, it's my real mom.
So why does it say best stepmom ever?
It's a joke. It's an inside joke with the family. It's
Oh.
my real mom.
Like a step ladder?
Yeah, exactly.
But she's
We
shorter
walk
than
all
your
over
real
them.
mom?
Yeah. Hey, Mom, I hope you're feeling better.
I just like letting everybody step all over me.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I just do it for the family. It's just nice for us to be together for once.
I like if we're acting like you're from North Dakota and not Iowa.
Well, what's the difference?
Between Iowa and North Dakota?
I mean, North Dakota has less, but Iowa has not much more. Like the whole Midwest, you can kind of blend it all. Minnesota has its own accent.
Does
Chicago has
Iowa
its own
talk like
accent.
that? I think Minnesota does a bit. Yeah?
Your Minnesota rocks! What was that one?
That's not it. What?
What'd you say?
What
Does
did you
Minnesota
say?
get the Fargo voice?
No, that is
Dude,
that
here's
is
the
just
thing,
North-
man.
that is just North
Here's the
Dakota, right?
That's
thing.
the Dakotas. Minnesota
Every-
has its own
no.
specific.
Every actor,
No, Minnesota.
every
That is
actor that
Minnesota.
tries
Yeah.
to do Minnesota does that version. That's like way over the top.
It's not that over the top.
Yeah, elements of it are accurate, but like,
He's
people-
slowly conceding.
No. People try to like it's too deliberate.
I'm from Winona.
No, it's too
that kind of thing.
it's too deliberate.
I'm
It's
from
too deliberate.
Minnesota.
Like it's more relaxed and casual.
Like, you
know what
sound
I mean?
foreign.
So like in Minnesota,
It's like
everybody
Minnesota.
calls it Minnepop, right?
It's like Minnesota.
What?
and we have
Oh, okay, that was good. No, that was pretty good. That was pretty. It took me a second.
I'm gonna pop.
It took me a
North
second.
Dakota's Fargo. Right? Yeah. Like Fargo is like a
You
North
should
Dakota
stop
thing,
talking
but
like
you always
that now.
hear. We always hear like Minnesota.
Yeah,
people
you
always
always
do
hear
Minnesota.
Fargo.
Oh, yeah, people always do Minnesota like that too. And so I'm just like,
Well,
so like,
Minnesota is like, I don't know how accurate I'm being.
like,
Yeah,
so,
please,
so,
man.
So like,
Well, what are you?
so like, does Minnesota actually
What's
have
our
the
accent?
voice or no?
We don't have an
Like,
accent,
The
bitch.
short answer is yes.
Accident.
Okay,
The short answer is yes.
we did it.
You.
I'm the accent.
Right.
Yeah.
But every like actor portrayal of the Minnesota accent I've seen is way too deliberate. Where to the point where like I don't know, it's almost like the bookends of sentences are way more casual. They go to an 11 through a whole sentence, and it's like way more casual on the bookends. You know what I mean?
And how does that make you feel?
So does the accent offend you, Hamster?
It doesn't offend me. I'm just saying like
That should.
here's the thing. it's basically when I see it on TV, it's like they're doing the version that everyone thinks is right, and it's like not actually. It's just one of those things
So
where.
throw some bars down. Let's hear it.
No. Here, it's just one of those
Throw
things.
some bars
Let's
down.
hear
It's
it.
one of those things where when you're local and you know it, you're gonna hear the little discrepancies, but
When you're
other people won't.
wait,
you know?
wait, when you're what?
When you're
Local
local.
and you know it.
Clap your hands. All right.
I mean, it's the same thing as like people like describing Brooklyn accents.
Exactly.
Like,
If
I'm
you're
walking
local-
here.
If you're right.
Hey
Ha.
Tony.
Like most people
Hey
would
Tony,
scoff
throw
at
another
this.
slice to the rat.
Yeah.
Come on.
What?
Salami.
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 Salami. Come on.
You know what? It is 8 o'clock on the dot. That might be the point to end this
oh wow,
story.
it actually is.
So what does it actually sound like in Minnesota?
Oh yeah.
Here's the thing. It's not.
Just say goodbye
It's
to
not
everyone in a
wrong.
Minnesota
Do
now.
they-
It's not
do-
completely
Just say
incorrect.
goodbye in a Minnesota
It's
accent.
not completely incorrect. But
Do they just sound like you?
They over exaggerate. It's like a
it's,
Cockney accent.
it's over exaggerated, but I don't know how to explain it.
Well,
Clearly.
example.
Like it's over
show us
exaggerated, but it's
both.
not so deliberate.
Do the fake Minnesota and the real one.
I wish I had an example. Here's the thing. Let me tell you this.
Minnesota.
I had an audition for a script and a character that was like sitting in a bar in Minnesota, like typical, right? Like the actual local scenario.
What else would you do?
No. I'm just saying, like the local small town bar in Minnesota, and I showed up to the audition in a blaze orange shirt and a camo hat. Okay. And I can tell you, none of the little BFA boys with their little button-ups, right? We're not doing
bolo
what
ties.
we're not doing what I was doing
Huh.
in there. And it was for a replacement, and the actor was probably like Chris was talking about before, like the 6'4" leading man. So I did not get it, but she was scribbling furiously. Is what I'll say.
Like, oh God, call the ambulance. Call the security. Call everyone you can. I need hands on deck.
Some SOS help.
This guy is ruining everything. Everything we ever knew.
Scrap the show.
I said no Canadians.
Exactly.
We need to show a replacement, and that's how I answer other accents.
You know they call Minnesota Southern Canada? That's like,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Like,
a thing.
like when I went to school in Duluth, off of Lake Superior, in northern part of the state, it is closer to Canada than it is to Minneapolis, St. Paul, Twin Cities, the capital.
Don't you know?
Don't you know? Also, I've never freaking heard someone say "Don't you know."
Don't
Oh,
you
I
know?
have. For Minnesota.
I went
Yeah,
like
straight
Transylvanian
up,
with
straight
that
up.
one. I was like, don't you know? It's like,
You're like 1, 2, 3. Don't you know?
The numbers. Oh.
Okay, hey,
I
what's
know.
happening in Streamland?
Oh, yeah.
what is happening in Streamland?
Oh.
We currently don't know what's happening on the Anvil next week.
Sure.
As we mentioned earlier in the stream, I'm gonna be out
Oh,
In
nice.
Vermont.
next Wednesday in Vermont. Yeah,
Talking to chickens.
talking
Cool.
to chickens.
Nice.
That'd
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I've only been there
Uh,
once for a wedding and it was very beautiful, so.
So we're figuring out what we're gonna do stream-wise. We might go dark. It depends on where the team's at, because we're all also just like
Or it might go dork.
we're super overworked at the
Well,
moment.
so wait a minute. This concerns me because on the Anvil is Wednesday. So what's happening Thursday?
Why don't you tell me, Hamster?
It's just you and me, baby.
I mean, I'm gonna be back by Thursday.
Oh, okay. Then
Yeah.
we'll have the actual stream engineer with us. Then thank God.
Yeah, I'm getting
Are
in.
you leaving? I'm not leaving.
I'm here.
Is it just okay?
Sure. Okay,
Wait,
but
hold
but
on.
if it would be us, we'd be like
Hamster
Chris,
solo,
help.
Hank.
No. Listen, we'd always
We're
always
fired?
slacking Chris like, please help. We need.
Well, correct. When I was doing the board, that's what I would do.
Exactly.
But I would be able to kind of funnel it together.
But thankfully you'll be back.
Sorry.
I am so excited to just get that station set up.
Yeah.
Because once we do that, I am doing a training session with you and Mace.
Wait a minute,
and-
there's gonna be like a station?
Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah.
let me tell you what the godsend is now. There's a button on the board back here with a piece of masking tape that says on off for the lights.
Nice.
And that's the only reason I can turn them on and off.
Yeah, and we've actually been setting that up so that the lighting grid, we're going to program it to be a couple different settings, and so then we will get an actual we'll have a button that's like push this to set it up for hobby hang. Push this
Sure.
to set it up for. Yeah.
We have a hobby hang button.
We're
That's
we're
amazing.
going to, yeah.
That's amazing.
But yeah,
going
we're basically making a media station. So like this, all the streaming stuff is currently on a rolling cart, and for the last year for the last year and a half, I've been rolling it around and trying to keep it out of the way. But we're installing like an operating station basically that'll have the light board and the sound board, and we're gonna have microphones permanently wired throughout the space, so that when you ideally what we want is for people to not have to set things up for every stream and every shoot we want to do.
Sure.
We can just have people walk in and show everybody like, cool, when you're gonna do this thing, just hit this button and this button. Everything can just run through the computer. It should reduce like a lot of the stress of everything.
And let me tell you this: there's always the option to stream from my messy bedroom, like the quarantine days.
Wait.
right?
Can we all be there?
Yeah, you're all just huddled up in my bedroom.
We're all
Like, never mind the open closet door because there's an avalanche of items pouring out.
We all have gas masks on. Like, oh my god.
We're all have gas masks on. We're all under the sheets together. We're all painting.
And I'm just painting. You're in the back, like trembling. I'm like, yes, I'm painting this wizard. That's
Alright,
awesome.
well.
All right. Well, hey, look out for that.
Oh, well, we need to show people what we worked on.
Oh, right. So, here's the thing.
You got a good amount done.
I got a good amount done. I've really been trying to work on shadows, right? So, like, I've been trying.
Hedgehog?
Yeah, exactly. Shadow.
time for Sonic 2.
Exactly. And so I spent a lot of time glazing these shadows. I still want to work on the highlights, but normally I over highlight and under shadow. So I've been really trying to like get these highlights, or rather shadows, down to like almost a full black in some areas. So you can kind of actually, I'm looking at the monitor, you can kind of actually see some of the values. So I'll still probably push the highlights from here, but you can really, I'm happy because you can actually see the darker areas, and they're elevating the midtones almost to a highlight. So I'm really happy with that. So I'll keep working on that. But I do like how this is turning out.
That was a really technical and in-depth thing.
Monkey.
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 Monkeys. Yeah. So we now have Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong painted. They got their hats. They got their tie. I like that Toby had to sculpt Donkey Kong's weird shaped head and put it on top of the head of this gorilla, so he actually has his weird little hair now, which is nice.
Awesome.
I think that's basically ready for the photo shoot. But outside of that, I got a fair amount done. I did all the twig blights were all the twig blights were pretty basic. I also did this little wood boy. Man, they are very dark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these are all from Reaper. Oh wow.
Oh, we should get that mirror rotating thing.
I did mushrooms on
in
the
white.
on the back of that guy. Can we see the details? Yeah, do that. I can't tell. I think it's because of the angle I'm seeing the monitor from. There we go. That's it. The problem with painting dark things is, we've got like a black.
Yeah, let's get the mirror rotating boy.
Yeah. Bones 5, yeah. So those are all from Bones 5. So that's stuff for the Feywild. And then I started also from Bones 5. I started doing some of the spell effects,
Oh, cool.
but I've only done the bases for these. So
I saw you this one. Yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah, so I got this thing for that, and then so I guess next week I'm gonna do like some translucent paint, because these are both, it's like Levitate or Tensor's floating disc for this one, and then this is gonna be Spiritual Weapon. So
Cool.
I got the bases ready for those. So yeah, I did a fair amount of small, easy things today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait,
What's up?
my hobby is just yelling at a hamster.
What did you do while that was going on?
What is?
Just yelling at a hamster. Like, that's all I'm here for.
No, but wait, but
I'm
actually
putting
though,
this-
this is looking so. Your sculpt is looking so detailed.
Yeah, that's
now.
definitely
We
normal. Okay.
can't see this.
Like it's looking so incredibly
No, no.
detailed now.
I haven't
Looks so
worked
cool.
on this.
Well, I'm looking at the outside
Yeah.
here too.
Yeah.
So that's
been
where
like
like
that for a while.
yeah.
We have the color screen.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Let me turn off the camera, turn it back on.
No, this is Toby's sculpt. He's doing a rainbow sculpt.
It's
I'm,
really realistic.
I'm sculpting colors.
Yeah. Right.
We need painters.
Oh, alright.
Let's see.
No,
Hold,
still
hold.
not.
Hang
Yeah.
on.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Nope, nope.
As soon as I got it. Alright, there we go.
No.
Nope.
Almost.
Okay,
There we go.
here we
Yep,
go.
you're clear. You're clear.
I stepped on the power cable.
That'll do it.
Actually, every time I call you with an issue, most of the time it's that I stepped on a power cable. Oh yeah.
Anyway, so today I was working on like the wood paneling outside, which on both the porch and the wall. But I like doing this one because I like doing them layered. So I don't know. It's probably hard to see, but like basically I drew the line and then I screwed the tops off so it's like an angle, so it looks like it's like angled wood wall panels. Like I did it on this one as well. Texture as well, but so it's basically just it has some depth.
Yeah, this looking really cool.
Well, thanks. Yeah, you've seen this one. It's the same thing, but yeah, this one.
Would it surprise me every time? Like, it's just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
You're doing really well on these.
Oh wait, what's in the bottom?
Oh, that's just a loose my loose clay.
Okay, good, because I knocked it over.
Alright.
Mace, did you work on anything other than letting Julio in?
I did
to
a little bit
upgrade
of
it?
work today.
Okay.
On stream.
Okay, cool. Well, great. Yeah, let's get the frog back in his position, and look out for our streams next week. And thank you so much for joining us on the Hobby Hang after some time off. This is my favorite part of the week. I love hanging with you guys and with you guys. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Well, you all take care now.
Yeah. That's not inaccurate, actually. That's
Yeah?
No, that's good.
I did it.